Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. It's Friday, October 28th, 2022. Halloween weekend is upon us, and the news of the day is insane. Venom 3 confirmed, but do we really need it? And is it more of a cronyism job than a competent attempt at storytelling? And in politics, it overlapped with culture today with a disturbing attack on one of our nation's top politicians' family and how it ties into the fandom menace and chud culture on a very special edition of Chud Watch. Let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. I do appreciate everyone being here. It is a little bit later for me. You guys know how it goes. It's Friday night. I'm out there doing my deliveries, bringing the people their food because they're, lazy. Nah, they're not lazy. That's me. That's not true. It's not true. They're not lazy people. I'll tell you guys what. I keep getting these weird beer orders, and I'm wondering if they're just targeted at me. I keep getting these beer orders that want me to drive. No shit, 35 miles, one direction to the middle of literal nowhere. And I keep getting these orders to go out there. And I know that area, and it's kind of better down. I don't want to do it. I mean, also the pay is shit. The pay is not worth the time. You know what I mean? It's there's that, but it's I kept getting them tonight. And it's almost like something is trying to tell me, go take the order. And I'm like, no, I don't want to die. I want to stay home and watch movies. I do, actually. So the other night, I don't know if you guys know this or not. I took the last couple of nights off, wasn't really feeling the greatest, needed to just kind of take a little bit of a break. Ended up sitting down and watching Terrifier 2. Now, I did talk about this the other night where I watched Terrifier, and then I followed it up by watching the sequel. Holy crap, if you are looking for movies that are extremely gory, extremely brutal, and oh, wow, check out Terrifier. And then, of course, you guys can head on over to youtube.com/Podio commentary and get my reviews of both of them. There are definitely more things to watch this weekend. There is Barbarian is now out. There is the new Wendell and Wild stop motion film from Henry Selick that is over there on the Netflix. Enola Holmes 2 comes out next week, is playing in select theaters, but none near me. What else is coming out this weekend, right? There's other stuff that's gone on as well. There's a lot to watch. There's a lot of things to partake in over the course of this All Hallows weekend. I can't call it Eve yet because that's Sunday night, but it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Eyes Only here says, I don't know what Terrifier is. Yeah, man. That's the thing is, it's a movie. Just know it's a horror film. It's a horror film. So there's that. Roman asking, are you a liberal? Am I a liberal or a conservative? I'm a progressive. So I definitely lean on the left side, but I don't consider myself very much a leftist. And I say that because I have a lot of problems with the modern left, man. I do. I'm a policy guy. I like policy. I think policy is what pushes us forward. Society will catch up with policy, but we got to get there. We got to do it first. We got to show people that it can be done. A lot of what happens is a squawking on social media. Now that Mr. Elon Musk, the Musk, has got his mitts, if you will, on the twits, it's definitely going to be a bit of a wild ride for a while, and not one that I'm super eager in partaking in. But tonight, though, we will be talking about some chud stuff, and I think that's going to be fascinating. Shiny here with the $6.69 super chat. Thank you very much. Shiny says, I'm excited to check out Terrifier 2. I want to see how crazy that bedroom scene is. By the way, I have a job now, and now I can make it rain just a bit, though. Shiny, man, listen, thank you so much for any support you can give. Right now, especially, it's great. I'm glad you got a job. I got to figure out a way to do more, membership stuff, because I got to build that up. This is saying. However, a new little thing with that happened, by the way. They did announce yesterday that Netflix and Discord have teamed up to do a Discord bot to have Netflix watch parties on Discord. That, my friends, is a fucking game changer. So there will be shit to watch on Netflix. We're going to set that up for next week. I'm going to set it up probably next Friday, because it's a weekend. That's going to be a little bit easier for people who want to come in and check it out. And the reason why I'm going to do next Friday is because there's stuff to watch. But also, Donovan here brings up a great point. Says, have you noticed that Netflix hasn't advertised that Wendell and Wild came out today? Yeah, I was surprised. I saw that there were reviews that were coming out. I saw some tweets about it, but I wasn't sure if it was coming out today or if it was coming out next week. And I have no idea. I know Enola Holmes 2 drops on the 4th. I want to check that out. And I do really want to see Wendell and Wild, not only because of Henry Selick, but because of, Jordan Peele and Keenan, or, Key and Peele, right? I always get their names. I'm tired, man. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. I'm very excited to see them. I want to see that movie here. Garrett quickly asking, I Know What You Did Last Summer or Urban Legend? I'm going to go with I Know What You Did Last Summer. I did really enjoy Urban Legend. I did. I thought that Joshua Jackson, who else? Jared Leto was in that one. You had Robert Englund was in that one. There was a lot of Alicia Witt was in that one as well. I enjoyed the cast quite a bit out of Urban Legend, but I Know What You Did Last Summer has got Jennifer Love Hewitt. And in the 90s, I had a thing for Jennifer Love Hewitt. That hasn't changed. All right. And then so thank you for that. We also got a super chat here from Garrick Fobb. Bones, thank you very much. Okay. So asking the same thing. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, or Halloween H2O. I'm going to go with I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think Halloween H2O was fine. I quite enjoyed Halloween H2O. I enjoyed it when it came out. Urban Legend, I probably would put higher than Halloween H2O, but still I'm going to give it up to I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think I Know What You Did Last Summer very much was in line with the same kind of terror that Scream brought at the time. I think those two were closely aligned in my opinion. And I really enjoyed both of those movies quite a bit. But I do enjoy Urban Legend 2 was not as good. Urban Legend 1 was good. I still Know What You Did Last Summer wins out of all the bad horror movie sequels because you had Jack Black as a Rastafarian. So there's definitely that. And anyway, yeah, I enjoy I'll tell you this though, I've been really enjoying watching more of the horror movies recently. I've been enjoying watching horror. I think it's fun. I think these are violent, fun ass movies. I just want to see them, see more of them. I need to watch Hellraiser. I need to watch Barbarian. I keep hearing great things about Barbarian. I just wanted to get the Terrifier stuff out of the way. I just wanted to get the Terrifier stuff out. I just needed to sit down and watch it. And I'm glad that I did. I'm very glad that I did. Those movies are definitely crazy. Timothy asking, Beverly Hills Cop 1 or 2? Dude, it's number 1, man. Flat out, right? Not only do you just get a funner movie, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Tony Scott took it to a very interesting place. I still enjoyed it, but he took it to a very interesting place. Whereas Beverly Hills Cop 1, I still think of the opening of that movie, where he's in the back of the truck and you just start hearing the Pointer Sisters, The Heat Is On, na 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 whoa, right? I love the opening of Beverly Hills Cop so much. Never mind, I just thought Judge Reinhold was better in that one. Of course, the banana in the tailpipe, and you got Bronson Pinchot as Serge or Serge, and I really love Beverly Hills Cop. I really do. But number 2 is good too. I also enjoyed number 3, although number 3 was not as good as the other ones, but I do enjoy those. Yes, Ralph, VHS 99 is also on my list of things to watch. Did I ever see Society 1989? I did not see Society. Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours? I'm going to go with Beverly Hills Cop over 48 Hours. Mostly because I've watched Beverly Hills Cop more and more and more than I've seen 48 Hours. I've seen 48 Hours and another 48 Hours. It's been a long time. So there's that. Daredevil says here, do you think Disney Plus should team up with Discord and do something? I think everyone should. I think having the ability to do watch parties is something that's great. Let's see. Best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie after the original. Dude. All right. I'm going to say it, and I mean it. I'm not even making this up. The Heat is on in Beverly Hills Cop 2. Is it? Which is the opening? The point. Oh, is Neutron Dance, right? It's Neutron Dance. That's what I'm thinking of. Right? Anyway, whatever the opening was. Yeah, Pointer Sisters. Yeah, it was Neutron Dance, right? Anyway, I'm you know what? I get my stuff mixed up every once in a while. But the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie after the original is The Next Generation. I love The Next Generation. It's such a campy ass movie. Plus, you have Matthew McConaughey, Renee Zellweger before they got big. It's great stuff there. Reed here says, not there right now, but Rhett and Link are doing their Mythicon event right now. It's one of the first successful YouTube cons from what I'm seeing. Yeah, Rhett and Link are massive. Rhett and Link are massive, and they definitely command a large audience. They've even actually featured one of my videos in, it was their video they did back in 2015 or 2016 talking about Black Friday events. And there was that, I shot a video. Well, my girlfriend shot a video of a fight breaking out and pepper spraying happening at a Walmart in Los Angeles. And that was my first quote unquote viral video that I could monetize. And that actually paid for us to go on a 4-day cruise to Mexico. You know, like that paid for like $800 is what I made off of that. And it paid for us to go to Mexico on a cruise, which is a lot of fun, kind of kicking off the cruising bug that we have. And yeah, so, but no, Rhett and Link, good for them, man. I mean, it ain't DashCon, right? That was 8 years ago, you know, it ain't Kilroy, which is 4 years ago. You know, it ain't, oh my God. Yeah, man. It's just, nah. Like, I think YouTubers could put on a pretty decent event, but the problem though is like the commentary side of it would be very different. Like, who would you, if you were to have a YouTuber led convention that was an actual convention, just not like a meet and greet, like fucking VidCon, but like an actual, like YouTubers went and they paid for booth space and they could sit there and meet their fans that way. Like, would you guys go? No, I'm not saying like I would do that, because I think that's, for one, I don't have the fan base. Two, you know, I don't know. I mean, but like going to those events are a lot of fun, but like, I don't know how they would do it. I don't think I think Rhett and Link are they're very corporate. So they have the backing for that. Mr. Beast could do something like that, considering that he's trying to push what? He's trying to get his channel valued at 1.5 billion, which is nuts when you think about that. He's trying to make this thing where he's got he's to claim that his channel value is $1.5 billion. And he'll be able to use that in a number of ways. And like, it goes to show you that influencer-led marketing and business, when done right, can really, really be profitable. Because I actually deliver Mr. Beast burgers. I'll get the order to go pick up a Mr. Beast burger. So, you know, like I've done that more than a couple times just in my neck of the woods. So people out there know who this guy is, and they very, very much, you know, keep with him and they support him, you know. So there's all that. Let's see. Zachary here says, if you haven't seen it, Tubi has a horror movie called 1986. Oh, from 1986 called Witchboard. It's a pretty good movie, in my opinion. Pretty scary too. Nice. Let's check that one out. Eat his meat. I don't need to eat his meat. Shifty Gizmir says, I don't even know who Mr. Beast is. That's pretty funny. You know, like, it's pretty funny that they do all, yeah, Mr. Beast is, so what got Mr. Beast popular is a couple years ago, you had PewDiePie versus T-Series. Which channel was going to hit 100 million subscribers first? PewDiePie is one guy. T-Series is an entire company based out of India that does a lot with Indian entertainment. Mr. Beast came on out and started just doing all these videos trying to get people to subscribe to PewDiePie. He bought like ad space and like restaurants, and he did all this kind of stuff. And those videos started just snowballing and snowballing and snowballing because the PewDiePie versus T-Series was such a major, massive event a couple of years ago. And I mean, like, channels who you wouldn't even think would be in on the action were in on the action. There was live streams showcasing Social Blade subscription numbers between both channels to look to see who was going to be number one, who was going to be number two, like how it was going to play out. There was so much drama surrounding who was going to hit 100 million subs first, that like it was a massive YouTube cultural event. And from there, he just started putting out more of these videos and kind of pushing the envelope, I don't want to say pushing the envelope in like a crazy way, but he was pushing the envelope in this way that like we hadn't really seen in a while. But he clearly had financial backing. And I think I know who that was. or who might have been involved in that, who I think owns big part of his channel. And I think that's Daryl Eves from Vid Summit, because he's a YouTube coach and he latched on to Mr. Beast early on, and Mr. Beast and him are tight. And, you know, I've been on live streams, private live streams with Daryl Eves, cause I bought his book, and, you know, Mr. Beast was there answering questions. There was like only like 200 of us in the room, you know, it was a very intimate setting in that regard. And, you know, and like Jimmy was just answering questions and stuff. And he seems like a really nice guy. And they put out these videos that are just really interesting, but you can tell there's a production team behind them. You can tell that they are very much paying attention to what's going on. And then he goes out there and he gives people like $10,000, or he'll do this and he'll do that. And he does it. And he does it with a smile on his face, and people like that. He's like the Ed McMahon, if that whole Ed McMahon Publishers Clearinghouse Mandela effect thing was real, which I believe it fucking was. Hey, what's going on, Tim? How you doing, buddy? Lords of the Longbot, $6.66. Thank you. Happy Halloween, weenies. Yes. How you doing, Tim? Next time in Southern California, dude, we got to hook up, buddy. We got to hang out a little bit. So we'll definitely do that. Thank you very much, man. Talking about Garrick here says, I miss 2014, 2017 era YouTube. You could get away with a lot more back then. Back with Filthy Frank, H3, iDubbbz, etc. We're running wild. Dude, man, my best year ever was 2016. Flat the fuck out. My best year ever was 2016. Chocolate Rain was definitely before then. I worked with some people who knew Tezonde. I did one day I forget the name of the company. I was like a PA on a music video shoot. And the guy I forget his name. But like, he was like really good friends with Tezonde and shit. I was like, oh my God, Tezonde. Like, wow, man. Like, holy crap. That'd be fucking cool to like meet Tezonde. This is like 2012. This is 10 years ago. Everything else. Jess here says, how does Mr. Beast get money? Well, Mr. Beast now, his videos get so many millions of views that he makes a lot of it with ad revenue. Never mind his brand deals. Never mind the different ventures that he has where he makes a lot of money. So he's got a bunch of different avenue streams that he gets from. His videos, like the Squid Game one, I think cost him like $3 million to do because of building everything and how much. But like, his videos get so many millions of views where he's making a lot of money. He's definitely not making $3 million a video, but he's pulling in just like a shitload of cash. And that on top of everything else is just making him money, you know. And there's so many people that watch him. There's so many young people that are influenced by him. Like, I'd argue that like he's probably done more to influence YouTube than literally like anybody else in quite some time. It's crazy. Zachary here says, I saw a post from Twitter on Soups giving his review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. He said it was a step down from the first Black Panther movie. Did I see that? I did. I did. I think I really do think he's just saying stuff for clout. You know, he's like, man, Black Panther Wakanda Forever was a step down from the original movie. This is the guy that days before faked a fucking aneurysm to react to Henry Cavill's 5-second, shot in a movie, and then faked needing his friends to like to carry him out of the theater and shit. So keep in mind, nothing this guy says is real. Garrick here. So Mr. Beast is the complete opposite of DSP. Mr. Beast is the complete opposite of 99% of YouTube. Probably more like 99.9% of all YouTube, but yeah. Vince here says, Mr. Beast Willy Wonka video had like 500,000 views in half an hour. Oh, dude, 100%. 100%. He just 100%. He's got that young people vibe, dude. He's got those people in there, he's just like, he's absolutely got that particular group. And like, that's the thing that I respect him. I respect Mr. Beast. I got nothing against the guy. I think my problem though, is the people who look up to Mr. Beast and they think that they can be like Mr. Beast. But at the end of the day, you're just like, man, that's like, I don't know if they're setting false expectations or things like that. That's kind of where I look at it. Because YouTube is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This game is fucking tough, man. This game is fucking tough. And it requires a lot of work. Like, I have this new tactic I'm doing for TikTok and even YouTube Shorts, where like I'm trying to like brute force my way to 100,000 followers. And what I'm doing is I'm taking these like so I take a story, I take like a true crime story, and I do about a 420 to 480 word script. I put that together. That essentially means that at the rate that I talk and that I cut it down, I should be able to get it to just at 3 minutes. I tell a whole story, as many details as I can in 3 minutes. And then I chop that up into 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, that are all under a minute. And then I put those up in short form on YouTube and also under a minute on TikTok, even though on TikTok, I can go as long as 10 minutes. But by dropping those quick, shorter bits, I spread the story around and it goes out to different people and then more people come in. And that's the game you got to play. You got to put out the content for people to see it. And right now, shorter form content is really kind of where it's at least on TikTok and elements here on YouTube. So like, you just got to like play the game. You got to realize what the game is and everything. So if you guys notice, I'm doing the movie reviews on Podio Commentary. I also want to add in the long form discussion, but I've got to build that audience up to do that. In fact, if you guys haven't already, I'm just going to post the link in the chat there. Check it out. Subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs so I can monetize the channel. I'm at 460 right now. Haven't pushed it that much with like direct links and everything else, but it would really help out if you guys did that. And anyway, yeah, there's a lot going on there. Anthony here says Soups is mad that Dr. Doom is not in Black Panther 2. I mean, like, Soups is mad. Anything could happen. I don't know. Let's see. Mr. Beast could be worse. He could be another Rice Gum or Jake Paul. Yeah, Mr. Beast is actually a nice dude. Rice Gum and Jake Paul both suck. They suck. They suck so much. Thank you, Rhea. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Podio Commentary on the Lorax. Why would I torture myself watching the Lorax again? I would just be like me grunting for 5 minutes. Anyway, Garrick here. Thank you. Says, can we even trust people like Soups and Brendan Davis? These guys get access to all the premieres and stars. So, okay, here's the thing with that, right? So can you trust Brendan Davis and Soups? In reality, no. And I don't mean that to disparage them. I don't mean that to try to besmirch their name. Everyone out there is playing a game. Everyone out there is trying to get ahead. Everyone out there is trying to earn a living. Some people do it probably like less honorably than others. In the case of Soups and Brendan Davis, I don't view them as being like dishonorable people. I view them as being relatively dishonest people, but I don't view them as what they do is ultimately dishonorable. Like, Soups is definitely playing up the whole, like, let's go, that's my line, oh my God. You know, like, he does that because his audience are just like younger age millennials, but he really does not, or Gen Zers, right? And he does, but like older people fucking despise this kid. But his audience of like in the millions, of which, by the way, is like a lot of them don't even watch his content, is very much in line of, okay, like, yeah, they like it. Fine. Brendan Davis comes across as like, yeah, I'm like your everyday average guy. But again, like him going to the Black Adam premiere in a Black Adam shirt, wearing the Project Rock headphones, hearing that The Rock had paid for him and his mother to go because of his mother, her whole work experience with Southwest, which was a terrible thing, by the way. And then from what I can gather, not fully disclosing that while he was there, I take issue with people who are unethical. And we're going to talk about ethics here, actually, in a little bit when we get into the whole Paul Pelosi attack. I know it's a politic thing. We're going to hold it to the end. But that's just kind of the way I see it there. Jess here for $5. Thank you very much, Jess. Do you think all these short videos are causing people to have ADD or some concentration issues? I actually don't. At first I think I did. But I've been playing with that medium now for about 6 months. And you know what, man? Like, I'll tell you, you can do a lot in 60 seconds. If you know what you're doing and you plan it out, you can do a lot and convey a lot in 60 seconds. It doesn't mean that there are people out there who aren't going to like, take advantage of it. But I feel like we've just kind of like, we people want to like get better access to stuff. And I think the reason why these short form videos work in the way that they do is it's seemingly random. Whereas the YouTube algorithm shows you things based upon your search history, and it almost puts you in a box. It almost puts you in your own bubble. You know what I mean? So like, it's hard to break out of that. And that's where these algorithms are now for TikTok and Shorts and Instagram Reels is just kind of like up in the air, it feels like. And I think that might be why people are getting exposed to new things. And that's cool. Whereas before, you feel very kind of circular. Moisture for $5. Thank you very much. Says, do you think Wakanda Forever will be great? The last 2 Marvel movies this year have been underwhelming and were not as good as their previous films. Well, I really enjoyed Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but I understand that it had its faults. I do feel like, Sam Raimi shoots for a tight 2 hours. But I feel a story like that was needed to be longer than 2 hours to really get into the whole storyline with Wanda and everything else, because it was really predicated on if you had seen WandaVision. And if you had not seen WandaVision, you were going to be a little bit lost. And that was a problem on the film side. Thor Love and Thunder I liked, but yeah, I felt it did need more to kind of play with. I think it needed more time to really kind of get into that world. And I feel like I really feel Bob Chapek had ordered it to be 2-hour cut. I really do. I feel that's what happened. And the movie suffered as a result. I think both movies suffered as a result of their limited runtime. Whereas like Black Adam could have been shorted by like about 20 minutes and it would have been a lot tighter of a movie. Some movies need to be longer. Some movies can be shorter. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is rocking 2 hours and like 45 minutes or some shit like that. And I can't wait to watch it, man. I'm looking for something emotional. I really want to see something emotional and sad and that's going to, it's going to hit me in the feels and stuff. Like there's times you just want to see that even in these kind of movies. And I think it's going to really work out. I think it's going to really work out there. But thank you though. Raya here says, shorts for episode reviews seem like a cool idea as well. Been considering expanding. Honestly, if you can review an episode of a show or a movie in less than 60 seconds, you're kind of okay. And you can use it as a way to lead people to go and check out your longer form content as well. So you can do all that, right? Let's see here. Zachary here says, I should review Jurassic World Dominion on Podio Commentary. Like my thoughts on it. I haven't seen Dominion yet, but what I'll do, Zachary, is when I do get around to that, I'll do World, Fallen Kingdom, and then Dominion. I'll just power through them in a week. I want to do that with like Clerks. I want to go through 1, 2, and 3. I want to do that with, with these trilogies of movies just to kind of like keep on the right path. So, Vinfrost here says, in terms of social media, the co-founder of Twitter building a new platform called Blue Sky Social, it should be open to the public soon. If anyone is interested in leaving Twitter, I think a lot of people are interested in leaving Twitter. So let me explain what I think is going to happen with that real quick. Right. What I think's happening is a lot of lefties are going to leave Twitter. A lot of lefties are going to bail. Now, are they going to keep their Twitter accounts? Absolutely. But they're going to move on to something else. They're going to go in while there's a gold rush on the other platform. And this is exactly the time when somebody else can come on in and launch a platform like this, like what Blue Sky could be, and actually have it be a place for, left-leaning individuals. The reason why that will succeed over, let's say, Parler or Gab or Locals or Minds or any of these Truth Social, any of these other right-wing ones are the right-wing ones become an echo chamber. And right-wingers love to fight left-wingers, and left-wingers love to fight right-wingers. That's why Twitter has worked so well. But Twitter worked well for the left-wingers when there were left-wingers in charge. Now there's a right-winger in charge who kind of seems a little bit like pro-Russia and a little bit like pro things maybe Elon Musk shouldn't maybe be like diving into. Who knows if he's trolling at this point, but that's going to scare a lot of people away. So Blue Sky Social allows for right-wingers to come on there and to run amok. Then you're going to get your conflict, and your conflict is going to be what drives traffic, right? The thing with the other side is there's no appetite for right-wing versus right-wing infighting, and left-wing versus left-wing infighting is very rare because a lot of prominent left-wingers will browbeat the fuck out of everybody else and they just fucking capitulate. So you're going to get like a desire to fight the left, and the left will be like a flame and the right will be like a moth. It's not the other way around. Lefties don't go to True Social or Parler or whatever in order to like fight the right wingers. They just don't. They let the right wingers go, and the right wingers are the ones who need their echo chamber and then to dip their toe back in the field. So they'll go to wherever the left wingers are. And if the lefties leave Twitter, which I believe that they will, then what you're going to get is you're going to get Twitter just on another platform. So whatever Blue Sky is. Now, I'll definitely be signing up for Blue Sky because maybe I can actually like get fucking verified. That'd be nice. But that's how I see that. That's how I see that stuff there. What do I think of Markiplier? I like Markiplier. I don't watch him, but I really, really, really enjoy his energy. So there's that. All right. I'm just kind of play catch up here. So Garrick says here, it's nuts how someone like Elon Musk can just wake up one morning and decide to buy Twitter. So, okay, here's the thing with that, right? Is Elon Musk, like, he's like, he, I believe jokingly wanted to purchase Twitter, right? I think jokingly he wanted to purchase Twitter. And he kind of I think he got kind of like bullied into it, to be honest with you. So he looked into it, and remember, he wanted the data on the bots. And that was his kind of get out of jail free card, so to speak. He thought because there's a lot of bots and a lot of fake accounts on Twitter. There's a ton of them. And that's really going to severely, devalue the platform at the end of the day. But what happened was he tried to back out, and then Twitter sued him for $1 billion. And they played Elon Musk. They played him so fucking hard to where he more or less like, instead, he basically had to come back in and purchase it, right? He basically got bullied again into purchasing it for $44 billion, severely over what the valuation of Twitter was. Back in 2016, there was a rumor that Disney was going to buy Twitter or Microsoft was going to buy Twitter. It was around like $6 billion or something like that. Like, it was really not as expensive. And even after the whole President Trump thing and everything else happened in the last couple of years, Twitter has not grown. It has not grown in its user base. It has not grown in users in general, like daily active users. Facebook is 2.9 billion daily active users. YouTube is about 2 billion daily active users, if not more. I don't know the numbers are these days. There are so many more people on other platforms. Twitter is not there. So why the fuck did he buy Twitter? You know what I mean? Like, why did he buy Twitter? He got bullied into it. The thing is, though, is Twitter is not profitable. So, but the guys who work there, the former CEO, the former CFO, other high-level execs are getting bought out, and their buy-off amount is like to the tune of $122 million, like combined. So not only did they make a killing off of this fucking sale, they're going to get these buyouts that are going to be massive. These guys never have to work again. They played Elon Musk like an idiot because he's an idiot. He's an idiot. The guy can, he sounds smarter than he is, but he got played. And to me, that's really funny. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. The right wingers think that they're running the asylum right now. Everyone's out there to transphobia, misogyny, racism. My God, guys, it's everywhere today. I mean, go look at Elon Musk's tweet about the bird is free or whatever it is, and look at the quote tweets. Like, oh my God, holy shit, it's bad, right? It's like somebody went in and like opened up the containment unit in Ghostbusters. Like, basically, he Walter Pecked Twitter, but then comes out and says, "Well, I'm not going to reinstate all these accounts yet. They're going to go through a content moderation team, because no matter what, he's got to have content moderation." There's no such thing as uninhibited free speech on the internet. Not if you want a safe harbor designation. Section 270 in the internet? I forget what it is right now, but it's like, Section 230. Section 230. If you want to be considered part of the Safe Harbor Act, like, there's things you got to do. So unfettered free speech does not exist in these specific places. And that's federal law. Been there for a long fucking time. People out there got to remember that shit. How about that sync meme? That sync meme was dumb. That sync meme was so stupid. Garrick says, will Alex Jones and Milo be back on Twitter? Milo 100% if he's allowed. Holy shit, 100%. And then Alex Jones definitely too, yeah. Rational says, are right-wingers even buying TikTok? Right-wingers are buying all the social media liberals who have no choice but to leave the internet, go outside. That's not true at all. Someone will open an alternative. Gary says, doesn't Kanye West own Parler now? I know he's supposed to buy it, but in the last couple of days, he simply doesn't have the money. I don't think he has the money at all to do it, to be fair. But anyway, speaking of money and timing, we're talking about the runtime of Wakanda Forever. I wanted to get to this real quick. Avatar: The Way of Water apparently has a 3 hour and 10-minute runtime, and some people are really not happy about that. Some people are very upset about fucking a 3 hour and 10-minute long Avatar. I'm like, look, man, bring it on. Bring it the hell on. That's going to be something that is, like, I'm just saying it's crazy, crazy stuff there. What we're looking at is a long ass movie, and it's going to make so much money. I don't know how much money it's going to make. It's going to do really well. Spherical Man here yawns. Whatever, dude. Whatever. I'm going to go see. I can't wait. RJ here says James Cameron's ego striking again. Look, I mean, that's what he wants it to be. He's going to have an idea. The Batman, Vince here says the Batman was like 45 minutes too long. No, I liked that. I thought it had a fine runtime. Where is the second Avatar trailer? We'll see it in 2 weeks. We'll see it in like 2 weeks. James Cameron's ego the other day talking about Marvel movies. That was pretty funny. Saying it right next to Zoe Saldana was pretty funny too. So, is Max showing up soon? No, Max went to bed. Simon here says Titanic never felt like a 3-hour movie. Considering the fact that Titanic itself as a movie was longer than it actually took for the ship to sink. Yeah. What's also funny though, is the ship starts to sink halfway through the movie. So the last half of that movie is that ship going into the water. And yeah, it's fine. I will say though that upon watching Avatar again recently in IMAX, I did feel its length a little bit, but then again, like watching a movie in 3D like that kind of got me a little bit, right? That was a little bit like, I'm not big into 3D anymore, and that was a long one. I'm looking forward to that. But here's one that we're getting. Apparently, Deadline is reporting that Vision Quest is a new series currently being in development over there at Disney Plus. It's going to follow Vision trying to regain his memory and humanity. Jack Schaefer will oversee the series, and apparently there's also a possibility for Elizabeth Olsen to return, and that's great. Although I really wonder if it's under the they're calling it Vision Quest, which I think is kind of a stupid name, by the way. If you want my honest opinion, just call call it Theseus. I think they should call it Theseus. They should do it. I felt Avatar's length. Yeah, deep inside me, Tony. I felt it deep inside me. Anthony here says Avatar 2 will make $2 billion. If it goes to China, which it will, it's going to do well. It's going to do very well. Never Let Go, Rose proceeds to let go. Yeah, I know. That movie birthed incels, by the way. Spherical Mind. I don't know if you know that about history. About Titanic. That movie birthed the incel movement. There you have it. There you have it, folks. Let's see. Fandom NSLzer says we finally get to the ship. Find out the ship of Theseus is still the ship of Theseus. I think it is. I really enjoyed that metaphor from the finale of that. I enjoyed it. I love Paul Bettany as Vision. I'm glad they're doing something else with him. I think it's cool. Jess here says WandaVision was a weird name, so Vision Quest is fine. I mean, yeah, I get that. I think that's okay. Again, like whatever they got with Paul Bettany, I'm more than happy to check out. All right, let's keep it moving here because there's some stuff to get to. This is one that popped up today. So Henry Cavill and Isa Gonzalez have been cast in Guy Ritchie's The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. The film follows Winston Churchill and Ian Fleming's secret World War II combat organization that in part gave birth to the modern Black Ops unit. So listen, there's been a lot of talk recently from people that are trying to say that Henry Cavill is going to be Bond. And he probably would be Bond if he was a little younger. But if this is him working on an Ian Fleming story or something Ian Fleming was involved with, this is basically him becoming Bond, right? I think I think it's kind of like, so Cavill's Bond. Cavill's not Bond, but Cavill is playing a character in a thing that was, co-created by the guy who co-created a clandestine spy-based organization, carrying out black bag operations, black ops, so to speak, and probably going to end up killing a whole bunch of people. You know what? For Her Majesty's, in the name of the Queen, part of Her Majesty's Secret Service. Maybe this particular Black Ops unit, the Ungentlemanly Warfare, perhaps they've got a license to kill. Maybe they got a view from the top, right? They can look down and they can see Octopussy in the ocean, right? And then they can shoot it with a Moonraker. But they're also going to look through their golden eye, and they're going to see that the world is not enough and that tomorrow never truly dies. But then again, there's also no time to die. But then Dr. No will tell you. I don't know. I don't know. Anthony here says, where is the man from Uncle 2? God damn. Arnie Hammer. Man, that guy's got to go on a fucking redemption arc, right? The guy's got to denounce being a cannibal so we can get the man from Uncle 2. I fucking love the man from Uncle. Such a good movie. RJ here says he's not going to be Bond if he's working with Guy Ritchie on a Bond-esque project. Witcher, Sherlock Holmes, and Superman. This is the closest that he'll get to that. Dude, don't forget that he is also playing Argyle in a trilogy of movies. So there's that. Am I done with the puns? It's not really puns, Jess. It's not really puns. Well, maybe it might be puns. All right. Look, my gold member, Jarbo. Dominic Cooper played Ian Fleming in 2014 miniseries Fleming. Oh, really? I like Dominic Cooper. I really like Dominic Cooper. I would love to see him come back. Blessing asks, why is he so handsome? I don't know. Trust me, okay. A couple of weeks ago, my girlfriend and I were hanging out we're trying to find a movie to watch. And we're looking through Netflix. We came across the Enola Holmes, and I show her the trailer, and it gets to Henry as Sherlock. And she goes, is that Henry Cavill? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, play it. So, he's a very attractive man. He's very well spoken. Anthony here says, for an old guy, he's getting a lot of work, isn't it? Yeah, I do. Okay. Look, my shit post about his age just had to do with what Warner Brothers is going to want to do with the franchise if they're going to want to keep that going. He's still 39. Harrison Ford was 38 years old when Raiders of the Lost Ark came out. Okay. Right. And he's almost 80, and he did another Indiana Jones film, the end of his 70s, with a fair amount of action. And no part in my mind is Henry Cavill won't be able to do it. Okay. I'm just talking about franchises and these studios and how they want to operate. But at least now Warner Brothers seems to be on the right track. And for that, I'm actually really good. Another Garbo take from, shut the fuck up, Garrick. Tony asking, would I go gay for Henry? I wouldn't go gay for Henry. I mean, not permanently, right? Not permanently. But if he was he's like, hey, mate, you want to cuddle up there? He can't do his voice. Sounds Australian. It's like Daniel Craig in Mimic. No, in Munich. The only blood that matters is Jewish blood. I was actually trying to practice my Henry Cavill's British accent, because he's very proper with how he speaks. He's very thoughtful with how he speaks. And I'm not very good at it. I keep trying, but I can't quite get it. Henry will never join Marvel, not at this rate, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely all right with Henry Cavill not joining Marvel if he's actively doing what he wants to do. You know what I mean? I'm very much okay with that. All right. So here's another thing pops up today. This is an article from a website I've never heard of before called Above the Line. Kanye disagrees. Yeah, well, I am not Kanye West, as I had to remind somebody earlier tonight who legitimately tried calling me a Nazi on social media. I was like, okay. He's all like, oh, I was on Dane, Actual Fandom's stream earlier, and this guy's like, you had Matt Jarbo, fucking Gamergator, actual Nazi on there. And I'm all like, I think you're confusing me with Kanye West, my guy. Like, I'm not a Nazi. I don't hate the Jews. Shiftygism here says Matt wouldn't go gay for Henry, but again, Henry would go gay for Matt. Well, listen, man, you know, you get some cold nights out there. You gotta do that. Anyway, Mladenir says Grace is not okay about Henry not joining the MCU. Well, yeah, Gary, yeah, it's true, man. Look, if Grace has been having a rough week, okay, I think we need to be a little bit kinder, be a little bit nicer to our pal Grace. We need to remind her everything's okay. Yeah, okay, girl, you're perfectly fine. She's okay. She just needs to calm down, pump the brakes, chill out. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay to do that. Not everything has to be go. Not everything's got to be 100 miles an hour. You can chill out. You can take a breathe. You can smell the roses. You know, what's the line from Ferris Bueller? If you don't stop and smell the roses every once in a while, life's going to pass you by. Or I'm paraphrasing that probably, but it's like, you guys know what I'm trying to say? Grace just needs to chill. Grace just needs to chill. Spherical Commander says, I saw comic book resources say that Zach is excited to work with Henry Cavill again on Man of Steel 2, so it's happening. There was a thing the other day where Henry was having a conversation with Josh Horowitz. I think it was like behind a paywall. And at one point, like Zack Snyder sent in a little message and he's like, I can't wait to work with you again. And then now with the Superman stuff and everyone's all like James Gunn taking over DC. A lot of people are like, oh my God, Zack Snyder, Man of Steel 2, it's happening. We don't know yet. I mean, look, anything could happen. James Gunn is a fan and a friend of Zack Snyder. They're very cordial with one another. It's entirely possible that Gunn will want to, work on that. But at the same time, Gunn is savvy enough to understand how crazy the fan base is. And even though he doesn't think that all of the Snyder bros are fucking nutty, he's got to be more aware now than ever before about just how dedicated they are and how demanding they are. I don't necessarily see that happening, but I could be wrong. And it's one of those things, much like Henry returning, I want to be wrong on. I'm glad I'm wrong. There's nothing wrong with having hot takes, but it's just like going, yeah, I was wrong. And that's the difference between me and Grace, where Grace is all like, I have a hot take, but she won't acknowledge the hotness of the take and that she got it wrong. That's the difference though. Let's see here. RJ says, you can watch the Superman stuff for free. Josh even clipped out the Superman stuff. Oh, okay. Well, send me a link with that. We'll check it out. Okay. Send me a DM. Put that in the DM group, RJ. Zachary says dedicated. Well, I wanted to think of a nice word. I haven't, speaking of paraphrasing, how about that Yaddle quote? I haven't seen Tales of the Jedi yet, so I'm behind. Garrick here says, I wonder how Cernovich feels seeing Gunn getting more success after being canceled from Marvel. It's the long game, dude. It was the long game. The whole time, Mike Cernovich is like, yes, I'm going to put James Gunn in charge of DC. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. That's how this stuff works. All right. So this article here, abovetheline.com, says the accidental truants. DC is finally moving in the right direction with James Gunn hiring Black Adam's success and return of Henry Cavill Superman. So it says here, I'm trying to think of like what this is. Okay. So, all right. Talking about then James Gunn, Peter Safran signing on. We know about that. Much was made about the search for someone to run the show. I may have mentioned it a number of times. As new Warner Brother boss David Zaslav wanted somebody like Kevin Feige and apparently even asked him, though he politely declined naturally, to run the DCEU and try to make it even remotely competitive with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Something that I think is important to note is rather rare, though there are exceptions to that rule. So here's the thing with this, right? Is Zaslav absolutely wants to take on Kevin Feige, wants to be that kind of guy, wants to make sure that they're able to pull it off, like wants to be able to actually like fight him in the fucking streets. That's what he wants. All right. And the reality of it is that he actually probably could. He actually probably could do that now that he's got the right people and the top of it. And what I mean by that is, look, I think, look, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I think that DC has interesting characters, but they're not as good as Marvel. And I think the audience backs that up too. I think the audience absolutely backs that up. And this has nothing to do with the characters themselves. Do I find Superman to be a boring character overall? Yes. Do I think what Zack did with him, the deconstruction, was better? Yes. I think they made him interesting. I think they made him more human. And I get that. And I do, but I think overall, like in regards to, people tell me, oh, you got to read the comics. Again, I'm going to say this. People are going to agree, disagree. Comics don't fucking matter. All right. The comics don't matter. There's been so many iterations, so many runs, so many ideas, so many variations, so many different takes that how the fuck do you pinpoint which one you want to see? That in essence becomes the crux of the issue. All of that shit has to be refined and remolded and chiseled down and crafted into something that fits a continuous narrative. It's not always going to work because just like stuff in regards to book adaptations, not everything is filmable. George R.R. Martin and Neil Gaiman were having a conversation the other day, and they were talking about how they hate it when Hollywood needlessly readapts something as part of their stories, right? Like, why does Hollywood change this? Well, there's a reason for that. And the thing is, the artists, I hate to say it, are the kind of people who aren't going to be the right people to probably understand that. And the reason why is they're so close to their own work. Stephen King said it best. He's like, sometimes you have to kill your babies. And that does mean giving them off to somebody else to see. Joining me, though, is RJ. What's up, RJ? How you feeling?
Like shit, but I had to come in because your take was horrible.
Oh, whatever.
You baited me with your bad take. No, I'm just kidding. What I would just say to counter that is that I understand where you're coming from. I think the issue is that DC's always had really bad representations in media when it comes to film in the last couple decades. One could argue.
I'd say outside of Batman.
The characters haven't been represented very well outside of Batman, so it leads to a negative assumption about them. The issues, the possibility of these characters is limitless. It's just that nobody has taken advantage of that. Because DC has just as compelling characters as Marvel, but it's not used properly. If you start using them properly, it can demonstrate that to an audience a lot more.
Well, I mean, as I've said before, I feel that if they were to take the Bruce Timm approach to the storytelling that we saw with, Batman the TAS and Superman the TAS, or TAS, whatever, and in early Justice Leagues, I don't know if Bruce Timm was involved with the Justice League or not, that cartoon.
But it was Bruce Timm. It's Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. That's why it's called the Timmverse. Yeah.
Okay, so if they were to go back to the Timmverse and take that and make those approaches, I think that would work well. I'll tell you this right now. I think if they were to go back and they were to do like a theatrical feature-length animated movie in that style with somebody who sounds like fucking Kevin Conroy, you could probably even at this point use AI to do Kevin Conroy's voice.
I think Kevin Conroy would do it.
Yeah, but he's getting up there in years. That's why
he's getting up there
in years.
If you do one last time,
yeah, and I think that would be good. I think that would be fine. I think, and I say it like that because that is a world in regards to like the interconnectivity of it all, the way that those series ebbed and flowed with one another, that people out there really resonated with. Still to this day, they resonate with. And I think that it's like, that might be where they want to reset it. Like if it were me, I would go that route, at least for right now. Like past, with James Gunn being on board, he's going to have his own take, and that's great. I can't wait to see it. But I feel like if they really want to kind of like get into the grind on that and like rebuild these characters, that might be where they want to focus. But then again, I've heard someone say the other day, like, oh, why go back to the misogyny-laden era of Bruce Timm? And it's like, oh my fucking yeah. Well, if you look at like the outfit of Poison Ivy and Catwoman, and there are.
Bruce Timm. Let's be fair. When he's privately drawing some of those characters, yeah, he's a bit of a horn dog. But in terms of the actual content of the shows, no, it's more than just Bruce Timm. Yeah, Paul Dini is an influence as the writer behind the scenes. You have Andrea Romano, who's the voice actor. Cast director. It was a lot more than just Bruce Timm. I mean, it's a lot of people involved in that whole process who made those shows as special as they were.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. But I mean, is like, I was saying a take I saw on Twitter, which is, again, the hellscape.
Well,
Uh,
listen, all the lefties are leaving, so it's okay. It'll be fine.
yeah, a lot of people
They're all
are,
going back to Tumblr.
oh my, hey, listen, hashtag make Tumblr great again. Okay. So, and I say that not because Tumblr is a great website. It is a absolute terrible website, but
I love how Rational's trying to bait us into fighting. Your tricks
RJ,
don't work, Rational.
opinion on Batman sleeping with Batgirl. For that particular run, it made absolute sense. RJ disagrees.
For
That's
that
what we're gonna.
particular movie, it's absolute shit. But
No,
that's
it's
Matt's
not
opinion.
absolute. It makes sense. It
Let's-
makes sense. It makes sense.
We're gonna put a pin on this. I don't have the voice.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If Batgirl threw herself at you, you'd be like, all right.
But I'm also not basically like 20 years older than her, best friends with her dad, who I've known for years, and like kind of like vaguely grooming her to be my crime fighting partner. It's just a lot of weird things with that, man.
Adults can make decisions, RJ. I think that's something
She's not really an adult though. She's like been knowing Batman since she was a early teenager.
No, she's an adult
in that movie, but she's known Batman since she was a little girl, basically. Some versions.
Some versions. Again, we don't know what's canon.
Well, I just think it was poorly written. But we're gonna
also here's the thing with that though, too.
On that. It's fine.
But all I say to do it is this, and we can move on. It is leading up to an Alan Moore written comic, and that is very much something Alan Moore would write.
That's an insult to Alan Moore.
That is not an insult to Alan Moore. That is not an insult to Alan Moore.
Alan Moore would have written it better. I feel like.
Okay, fine. We can agree that Alan Moore would have written it better but with a lot more disdain. Because he would have written it. He would have written it to where like she got pregnant, and so when the Joker shot her, she lost the child. Like that's something. That would have been more of a Frank Miller thing. To be fair,
that's what I'm saying. This is more like the whole Bat girl having such a Batman feels like a Frank Miller thing to be edgy. The thing is just like I said before, when it comes to that whole thing. Honestly, I just feel like with that Killing Joke animated movie, it should have been about like a 30-minute to 45-minute special animated feature to where it's just the comic book stuff.
Can I tell you what I didn't care about that animated movie? Was the song. I didn't care for the song.
The song could have been better. It could have been better.
I mean, I liked it. I liked what they went for with it.
Well, they were trying to do something like it was in the comic, but it wasn't nearly as good as it could have been if they would have done it a little better. But yeah.
Brogy here says Alan Moore wouldn't do that because DC wouldn't allow it. I think Alan Moore is a weird guy.
Other issue I have with that animated movie, the ending needed to be more vague. In the original comic, it's always been debated Batman actually killed the Joker. The movie should have been like very ambiguous too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I do agree with that one. I think there's a lot of
there's just more to be desired.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. Again, did very well. Home video sales were insane.
Of course, it's the Killing Joke, and it was the return of Mark Hamill as the Joker. He came out of retirement of the role to do that movie.
Yeah.
But then again, Bruce Timm also that really weird Harley Quinn Batman animated movie where Harley slept with Nightwing, which is also really odd.
Wasn't that the girl from
Big Bang Theory.
Melissa Rauch, yeah.
Melissa Rauch. Not Kaylee Cuoco, but Melissa Rauch.
Yeah, right? They're just making their way. Next up, we're going to get a Harley Quinn movie starring Mayhem Bialik.
That's what I'm saying. They're all going to play Harley at some point.
If only Harold's mother wouldn't have died. Could you imagine that? Oh, Harold, Batman, Mr. J.
Right.
Anyway,
it is sad that like the fall of Bruce Timm should be studied because he's lost his like grace.
Oh, dude, a lot of those guys.
Paul Dini though has not lost a step. Paul Dini's still as great as ever. It's just Bruce Timm. I don't know what happened to Bruce Timm.
I don't know. I mean, I never read enough into it to really know. Quickly here, Moisture for 5 bones. Thanks, buddy. Says, you say Boy Scout Superman is boring because he's a goody two-shoe. That's all powerful, but how is that any different than Thor? Thor is like.
Are you talking about comic book Thor or movie Thor?
I'm assuming, I don't know.
Because like comic book Thor, okay, maybe I can understand that a little bit.
But like movie Thor is way flawed.
Like, they keep like reinventing that character constantly.
No, well, they did between Ragnarok. Well, no, they didn't. Yeah, I would say Thor: Love and Thunder probably has like the most. Like, it definitely look Thor Ragnarok in Endgame or Infinity War and Endgame is an excellent.
It's a great arc, but
That's a great arc.
Love and Thunder, I'm not sure what the arc is trying to be.
I almost it almost feels to me like they are ignoring Infinity War and Endgame,
which is weird because that's like what you shouldn't do.
No, they shouldn't do that. But it's like I still enjoyed what Taika went for with Love and Thunder.
Well, I understand what they were trying. They're trying to turn Thor into a dad, which I think is a cool idea. It's just how we got there. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, either way, like, you know, we're going to get Thor 5, so I'm happy with it.
Though. I think Captain America, that template of Captain America in the movies, apply it to Superman. That's the Superman character, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I you know what? I completely agree with you. America's ass. Eyes Only here says, Melissa McCarthy would be a perfect Harley Quinn. No, we're good. We're okay. We're all right. So here, let's take a look here at this clip. This is Henry Cavill talking with Josh Horowitz about Superman's return. I haven't seen any of this stuff yet, so this ought to be a good one. And we can do this real quick.
Welcome back, Superman.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. Wait.
Does it feel like there's a weight off the shoulders? The question.
Immediately, somebody had to be the guy who's trying to restore the Snyderverse. Who was
you know what?
That Mercury?
You know what though? Mercury, I think, is in LA, but this is in New York. Also joining us is Chris, the Bipolar Jedi. What's up, Chris?
Hi guys, I'm a little late. I was getting a little too political with Brodan over on his fucking.
Oh, that's okay. We're gonna go a little bit political here a little bit later though. So
I'm okay with that, but I can't argue about this culture war shit anymore, man.
Oh no. We're talking culture war, but it's an interesting angle nonetheless. So it's a bit of a Chud watch situation.
Oh man, I love Chuds.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. I'm not going to say nothing until we get into it here. But we're watching Henry Cavill speaking for the first time about Superman's return, and someone immediately yelled out, "Restore the Snyderverse."
Oh yeah, did you see the look on his face? Like, he just kind of laughed it off like, "That's uncomfortable. Shut up, dude."
Let's see. Yeah, I know. Let's see.
How does it feel?
Oh, that was a nervous. Did you see that?
Oh, he's totally nervous.
Tensed up a little bit.
Yeah, and you see that the interview jumped in real quick to change the subject. But can we just stop for 2 seconds and look at the beauty that is in real life? He has the Superman curl. Even in real life, he has the Superman curl.
Quick, Chris, I was going to mention that too. Have you noticed that in all the red carpet stuff he's been doing, he's been wearing that exact same hairstyle with the S curl everywhere.
Hey man, look,
yeah,
there's not a lot of men.
That's on purpose.
There are not a lot of men that I would have sex with and break my standards for, but I would absolutely have sex with this man right here. I'm letting you know right now. I don't give a shit.
No, I think Henry would like have sex with. Like, I feel like he's like the top. Like he would just.
I'm gonna grab a bottle of water. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll be right back.
I think Jesus fucking Christ, you guys. I mean, well, I made the joke earlier. Like I would be the little spoon with Henry Cavill. Are you kidding me? That'd be great. All right, we'll keep going.
Does it feel like there's a weight off the shoulders? The questions have been there for years. We didn't know if we were ever going to see you in the suit again. And spoiler alert, we've seen him in the suit again, and hopefully there's more to come. How are you feeling about this?
The character, how you guys expressed it is exactly how I feel. It's the character means so much to me, and it's been 5 years now, and I've, quite rightly, otherwise I probably shouldn't deserve to wear the cape, but I never gave up hope, and it's amazing to be here now talking about it again. There is such a bright future ahead for the character, and I'm so excited to tell a story with an enormously joyful Superman.
Yes.
Enormously joyful.
Yeah, I still hate that line, but yeah.
As much as you want to say, can you tell me a little bit about how it happened?
I mean, like, okay. I don't like the Boy Scout Superman bores me.
But
I talked
that
about-
was the
Thank
natural.
you. I came
But
back
hold on,
just in
hold on,
time to
though.
hear that. I'm
If
sorry, I
you think
didn't mean to
about it,
interrupt.
if you think about it, though, that was always where he was going to end up after
No,
his
I
next
know.
arc. So I mean, like, that's the character, Matt. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
It
It's just
is,
like
but
that's the
every once in
character.
a while, Superman could lose his temper or not pull a punch. You know
Well,
what
yeah,
I
I
mean?
mean, Chris, that's why you have stories like Superman versus the Elite, where you have those kind of characters challenge his moral compass, right?
Yeah, because I mean,
Like, you can still
I
tell
always,
stories like that.
because I'll say, man, Black Adam was kicking the shit out of Shazam and Superman. Why is that? And everyone's like, well, Superman was holding back. And I'm like, okay, why is he holding back? Well, because he must. Stop it. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? But
Okay, Chris, have you seen Superman versus the Elite?
yeah, it's on DC actually.
It's
Yeah.
that animated movie
Yeah.
where it's about like that British guy. I told Matt to watch that, but that's the perfect movie that shows like the morality of the Boy Scout Superman character being challenged in a really interesting and good way that really highlights the strengths of the character.
I think it's okay for Superman to be a Boy Scout. He was written as a Boy Scout. He was always supposed to be a Boy Scout. But I'm just saying that's why I'm not a Superman guy. It wasn't until Man of Steel that I became a Superman fan because Zach found a way to humanize him, to make him more relatable as a human character. The only other time I'd ever seen that happen was Smallville. And he wasn't Superman yet. He was just Clark, but I like where everything's going. I can't wait for the new Man of Steel movie. I hear it's going to be Brainiac. I don't know if that's just blowing smoke up our
right
ass
now
or
it's
what.
online
Well,
speculation.
That's online speculation, but everyone's pretty much assuming it's going to be Brainiac. So,
but I'm happy that all the DC people, got Superman back. I'm happy it's their Superman, Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I'm happy for everybody. I hope it works out. But all this, hey man, it's James Gunn, and they did even I said, look, if anybody could get it done, it'd probably be James Gunn could get Zach to come back. But if people really think Zach's coming back, just stop. If he does, you people that are in your 20s now will be in your late 30s. If it ever does happen, like, it's just, I mean, I don't think people realize how busy Hollywood is, Matt. And I hear you try to tell them all the time. You do not understand how long it takes to take on one of these projects and just get one project done. But when you're working on 4 or 5 different projects and you've got a rift between you and a certain production company, it could take a decade just before you start talking again. That's just my take on it, man. That's my chud take.
No, I get that. I mean, these things take time, and that's understandable. I think, well, I mean, look, I'm just glad that I'm glad we're here. I want to see where it goes. There's been enough moves at DC after everything that happened with Batgirl. There's been enough moves coming out. You're like, okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah,
exactly. There's been so much bad shit just in the past 2 years, RJ. Let alone, let's not forget, the way everything that happened with Autumn and Joss Whedon and all that shit. It's been about 6 years. This is a good time. I'm sorry. I may be like the one optimist out of the whole group, out of this whole circle of nerds, all of us put together. All of us. I'm talking Max, Brodan, all of us. But I think this is one of the best times in the fucking history to be a comic book fan. And to be you know what I mean? I think this is a great time to be a fan. And I think things are finally starting to come together. But then you got idiots in the crowd, Maddie, going, restore the Snyderverse.
Well, I do think that Henry was not on board with that, to be fair.
No, he wasn't.
And it's not that I think that he's like, Henry strikes me as a way more sensible guy. And so he doesn't want to get anyone's hopes up, and he doesn't want to say the wrong thing. He's very because Grace says that, he's difficult is what she says.
Well, she said that he's difficult to work with and that he only ever cares about himself and looks out for himself and what's best for his career.
Well,
he doesn't care about anything else.
Here's my question, okay, when it comes to all this stuff, because she acts like she's on a first name basis with all these people. But here's my main question. How the fuck would Grace know? Because she heard it from somebody, or heard it from somebody who
Basically,
Googled
she
it.
hears from people who
Yeah, like come
know
on, man.
Henry
None
or
of us
Henry.
know what these people are like, man. None of us. We don't know what these fucking people. They might go home at night and like jerk off with peanut butter and jelly out of the refrigerator. We don't know what these people are really like. I know Hollywood's a fucked up place, man, and it's very political.
That was just a very specific example, Chris.
Yeah, that was very like.
What was the weirdest shit I could think of? You know what I mean?
I mean, like peanut butter and jelly is the weirdest thing you could think of. I mean, would it be like peanut butter and mayonnaise?
Okay. In that moment, it was the weirdest thing I could think of. You know,
just like I mean, just imagine the texture of that thing. Ew. Anyway, yeah, let's get back.
No, wait, I want to see the Grace Howell thing real quick because someone dropped a super chat.
Oh, okay. I bet Grace howls when thinking of dream.
It's so bad, Maddie. It's so bad.
I know.
Scarier than any horror movie you could watch this weekend.
I don't want to get into that because I always come in here and I always have so much fun talking about movies with Matt that we get sidetracked. I don't want to sidetrack the show, but I did watch 3 horror movies in a row today, which I never do. No, that's a lie. I watched 4. I went all the way back to 2006 because I never saw that one called Behind the Mask, where it's a mockumentary.
Oh, I never saw that one.
Some guy named Devin something who is a serial killer and he's planning a big serial. I watched that. Then I watched Barbarian, fucking phenomenal. Then I watched X, which was even better, and then I watched Pearl, which was even better. So
yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about all 3.
Yeah,
of
you gotta
those
do
films.
some audio commentaries on those, Matt.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I got to review them, and then obviously it's very much the.
You're watching like Mac told me that the movie you just reviewed, he went and saw it in the theaters, and people walked out when some girl got skinned alive.
Oh yeah. The Terrifier 2, the big scene in Terrifier 2. I would argue that the scene in there's like a really gruesome scene in Terrifier 1, and there's the bad scene in number 2. In the first movie, it's like the first movie is very like small. It's a very minuscule film, right?
Right. Yeah, and it follows the formula.
Yeah,
right.
It follows the formula really well. And like when that happened, like I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, so
like,
nobody was expecting that second one where
but then you get to the second movie and you're like, okay, there's a bit like there's gonna be at least one as brutal, like murder, right? And then, but the problem though is like in my mind, it crosses the Rubicon, which is like it goes past the point of no return. It just goes into this utterly ridiculous place.
Right, Matt.
You're like,
I listened to your review and I
I'm
agree
like,
with you.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
yeah, like if they would have
sometimes
left,
they cross a line and they're trying to shock you so much that it loses any kind
But I
of
think
meaning.
it's such the type of genre that's in
And-
there. It's like
and
it wants to up the ante.
That's
and
the
shock
kind
you
of
more.
horror
Yeah.
I don't watch.
Dude,
And
but
Zachary, to
but
answer
the
your
end,
question, yes, I have seen Witchboard. Tawny Katane. It's an 80s movie about Ouija boards. Yes, I have seen it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
but it's like the thing with Terrifier, I really liked it. It was just like, it was a little longer than it needed to be. But like you get to the end credit scene and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? Where is this story going? What the shit? I mean, like even like the end of the movie, because like I said in my review,
Terrifier 1 or 2.
Terrifier 2. Terrifier 1 is very straightforward. Like, it's very straightforward. Terrifier 2,
It's all over
kind
the
of
place a little bit.
No. It's like the way I described it was it was like metaphysical horror, right? So if like the Halloween franchise is more metaphorical horror, these last trilogy, this one is more metaphysical horror. Like Terrifier 2 goes to places that we saw like in the 80s, like with Freddy Krueger and Jason and maybe a little bit of Chucky, and dealing with more of like, I would argue, a spiritual basis, right? Like how these killers exist. Are they demonic? Are they, and there's elements that they kind of touch at with Terrifier 2 that make you really think, okay, there's like some shit here. We're getting little pieces of the story. We kind of start to understand, but then by the end of that fucking movie, dude,
Throws you for a loop.
you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you get to the end credit scene and you're like that was the thing. Jimbo hadn't seen it yet because he had seen the movie, but he didn't know about the end credit scene. And I told him to go watch it and he went to go watch it and he was like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, like what the fuck? That movie is insane.
Yeah, and I can't watch shit like that. It just that I don't mind dark imagery or dark subject material, but when it gets too dark and just becomes all about gore and torture porn,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
not my thing anymore.
yeah. I'm not into the torture porn shit, to be honest with you. Like Blesinger says, I saw the bedroom scene and that was it for me. That is like the worst one in the movie. I personally like the next thing that they show him do, I thought was like equally as fucked up, but like in the context of the movie, I thought was hysterical. You know, also, I'll never look at a Tommy gun the same way again. I just thought that scene was awesome. But it's like, there was like a lot there with what Art did. Because then after that, it went back into kind of the normal trope of things. But that scene itself was so over the top violent and cruel that you're just like, what the, like, it just went so far for me. I just kind of went, okay. Like I started laughing at it. I'm like, all right.
That's why I won't watch anything by Cronenberg.
Oh, I hear like the new one he did, Crimes of the Future or whatever it is. Like I hear that's really fucked up.
Yeah, I won't watch his shit. He's too fucked up. You know, he's always got to have body parts falling off into someone's soup, and then you're eating a human ear, and it's just fucking gross to me. It's too much gross. I hate to use the term elevated horror because I've never called it that. I call it intelligent horror. I like intelligent horror, and I like some slashers if it's a good story. But if it takes it too far and you start getting into like fucking, what is
the
that
torture
called?
porn stuff,
a
like
Serbian
film. Yeah,
shit like that. I have no interest in whatsoever.
I was intrigued by a Serbian film like when I first heard the premise, and then I saw the trailer and I'm just like, all right, you know, I'll see what my friends say about it. And then my friends like, just don't watch it. Like it's just not very good. But Rational here brings up Hostel 1 and 2. Dude, Hostel 1, like I saw that movie in theaters, and that crowd, the eyeball scene, dude, fucking like no one saw that coming. It was just like, holy shit. Like
the Achilles tendon scene.
Oh, yeah, that got me. That got me too. Cause I actually suffer from Achilles tendonitis. So like I get that every couple of years, it flares up, and that's a motherfucker, dude. Yeah. That's like months of painful walking. But like, yeah, that was the thing with those movies is like the torture porn genre. Like I think Saw, well, this brain sauce real quick, but like Saw did a great job in playing with that back in the first movie. And the first, second, and third Saw movies, I really love Saw 1, 2, and 3. I think I walked out of Saw and I just saw 3, and my friend's like, what'd you think of it? And I just said, that was sawsome. And he just looks at me like, you're an idiot. And I'm all like, my next words were, hey, where's your car? Cause it got stolen while we were at the movies.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'm all like, that's what you get. This is kid for fucking mocking me, dude. Your car got stolen. He got it back. It was fine. But anyway, no, I mean like the Saw movies were violent, but they were intriguing.
Yeah, no, the first Saw and the twist ending and James Wan is incredible.
Dude, but even Saw 2, Saw 2 was good. Saw 2 was really good too.
I did like the first two. I liked after that it got a little crazy for me.
I think you could end the Saw franchise with Saw 3 after. Well, no, so I will admit I really enjoyed Saw 4 because it was about like setting up a successor, which I enjoyed Saw 4, and then after that it just kind of went to shit. And I never saw the Jigsaw movie, and I haven't seen Spiral and everything like that, but I do enjoy, like, I don't mind gore and horror, but like when it becomes sadistic, I'm not a fan. When it becomes like, when you like, cause we know that if you go into a horror movie, every single person on the screen is cannon fodder, right? We know this, but it's when it's like, you watch something and it becomes so like, I'm going to dismember this person, or I'm going to do something so violently brutal to them. For me, what fucked me up as a kid actually was Sleepaway Camp 3. Yeah. So, because like if you watch Sleepaway Camp 3, and I actually mentioned this in my Terrifier review, because there was like a moment with like with the reporter in Terrifier that I was all like, my mind flashed back to Sleepaway Camp 3 when she gives the one reporter like Drano instead of Coke, And the thing with Sleepaway Camp 3 is that I watched it again a couple of years ago. The movie's shitty, right? It's fucking terrible. I still like it, but it's still terrible. But when I was a kid, it scared the piss out of me. Because like the movie starts off and she's like runs a girl down with a semi truck or a dump truck. And then she like, puts a firecracker in one dude's nose and lights it and, bludgeons him to death. And then like burns the tent with him and his friend in there, basically still alive. and she like digs the hole and like puts the one lady in and then cuts her head off with the lawnmower. It's just like when you were like, the movie is violent, is very violent. But like when I was a kid, that really impacted me for some reason. I don't know why. That movie really got me. And
Well,
when I
80s
watched,
horror was a different time. It was different.
yeah,
Have you seen the commercials for those? You got to order them. And the reason I found out about it is everyone knows I'm obsessed with Corey Taylor, lead singer of Slipknot. Anyway, he's a big horror fan guy, and he's a Star Wars collector guy, and blah, blah, blah. And I got to interview him once. And anyway, there's this documentary series out called In Search of Darkness. They've got 1, 2, and 3 now. I own 1, and I own the Corey Taylor version of 2, which is like the collector's version. And I pre-ordered the 3rd one, and it's all about 80s horror and how 80s horror led into the 90s, and how now that we're in the 2020s, that kind of 80s style horror is coming back. Because 90s and early 2000 horrors was like, what was it? It was like, The Final Destination and Scream and things like that, which kind of made people go, oh, horror is actually dying. They're parodying horror in horror, But now
it's like when horror becomes meta.
Yeah, and now it's like a resurgence of the old 80s stuff. But some of the movies you probably forgot you watched as a kid, when you watch these documentaries, Maddie, they'll tell you, you'll be like, oh shit, 1983, Buried Alive. Oh, I remember that movie when I was a kid. That movie fucked me up.
Yeah, well, there's I think Cecil from Good Bad Films or Good Bad Flicks is behind it as well.
Him. I like
yeah,
him.
we follow each other and we talk occasionally. He's a cool dude. He's a really cool guy. I also know CZ's World.
Yeah,
Zach?
I like him. I like
I met him at a YouTube event. He actually knew who I was. He came over to me and talked to me, and we've been chill ever since. Really good guy. He's a really good guy.
I like Cody Leach.
I just started checking him out. Yeah.
And I like weird movies with Matt, I think is his name, MWW, whatever. He does like the old, like all the old shit, like it came from above and the big giant ant movies, like the really bad horror movies.
I adore that fucking movie, dude. We watched that in high school. We watched them in high school.
He reviews all those, you know what I mean?
Nice.
And he's really, so I love channels like that, man. I really do.
See, I don't have I don't like a niche. I just like all forms of filmmaking. I like, if I can get into a movie, like I was into Terrifier. I got into that. Terrifier 2 started to kind of lose me about halfway through a little bit. Because I'm like, because it's 2.5 hours long, and you get to like an hour and a half in, and you're like, this should be wrapping up,
right?
And they got a whole other hour to go. Terrifier 2 is like Terrifier 2 and 3 back to back. It's what it feels like. You could easily chomp out a lot there, but they went kind of surreal with it in a very interesting way. But the fact is that it was a $250,000 budgeted movie, and it doesn't look like it's a $250,000 budgeted movie. It looks really good. And like the gore effects, I think like the gore effects, they stretched their budget a bit on that, but the soundtrack was fucking amazing. The score was good. So good. And the cinematography is really solid. It's a really solid little movie there, but all right. Yeah. Let's see here. Zachary asking about the Hatchet movies. I've actually never seen the Hatchet films, so I need to check those out, but let's get back to the Superman thing. Cause, there's still a couple more things to talk about here.
That's my fault. I take.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It is Halloween weekend, but let's keep going.
How this recent cameo happened and what it was like to get back into the costume.
Well, I was on Witcher, and I got the call saying, hey, this is happening. When can you do it? I was like, I'm working 6-day weeks. I don't know when I can do that. And they said, well, look, we've got these dates. And I said, okay, cool, right, I'll come in and do it. And we had to get clearance from Witcher production at the time, but it was so top secret, we couldn't tell them what. We just said, hey, there's this thing I've got to do. Can you clear me for it? And I don't know whether anyone suspected or not, because there was all the talk about Comic-Con at the time as well.
Right.
And so then I went to Leeson Studios, Warner Brothers Studios in the UK, and on a super secret set, all whispers and all sort of capes and everything all hidden, and got back in the suit. And it was a very powerful moment for me. I wasn't too sure how I was going to feel, whether it was going to be, okay, cool, yeah, back in the suit, or whether it was going to be something which was very emotionally connective, because I put the Man of Steel suit back on. And yes. And I chose that one in particular because of the nostalgia attached to the suit. And
So how many suits does he have?
Well, no, that's
There's the
interesting.
black
though,
suit.
too.
There's the reverse suit.
Well, the black
there's
suit
the-
doesn't. The
Well,
black
no, what
suit.
I was going to mention is that people were all upset. Like, why did you wear the black suit? Well, Henry picked the suit he wanted to wear. He picked the way he wanted to look. So that was his decision.
And I think
that's-
he wanted
that's
to
good.
look like Superman. You know, he wanted to look like Man of Steel Superman, which I'm totally on board with. You
Yeah,
know?
no, I completely agree. I just that's really cool. He's like, I picked that suit. Like, oh, I didn't know.
Well, it
You
was the
kept
first
all-
suit from the first movie.
Well, you got
right?
the Man of Steel suit, and you got the reverse suit, which is basically it's the Batman versus Superman. It's like reverse colors, but they're still all there. And then you've got the black suit, and I don't know what the fourth suit is. I think it's the actual Christopher Reeves one that they haven't used yet.
I just think
I
it's
don't
weird
know.
that they keep updating the suit.
Well, they have them archived probably on like the Warner Brothers archives. Like, it's like, hey, we have this suit that's on the lot. Do you want to use this one, or this one? It's like, here you go.
Yeah. Well, no, they definitely keep all that. Like, remember when they were doing the little extra scene for Snyder Cut,
Mm.
and they needed to get the cowl, and it was from storage they had in the UK.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, remember when they did like test screen or test what do you call it? Like tests for like actors to play Batman. They all wear the Batman Forever costume. All of them, the exact same suit. Robert Pattinson wore that suit. Christian Bale, freaking Cillian Murphy, they all wear that suit to test in when they're doing like actor tests.
Crazy.
So they keep
Killian
that
Murphy
suit.
tried out for Batman.
Yes, he did. There's actually footage of that on YouTube.
That's awesome.
That'd be
Hysterical.
something to see. Hold on
Yeah,
real
it
quick.
would.
I did miss a member chat from Anthony Beltry. Thanks, buddy. Says Superman was joyful in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Was he? He was. I mean,
At certain points,
are
a
you
couple
sure?
points. I mean, we read
But
that
you know
with
what though?
Lois.
I'm just gonna say he was probably more joyful at the end of Justice League when he was racing the Flash.
Yeah. I mean, I saw him. He was happy when his mom showed up and when he got to see Lois again. Outside of that, he was stoic as fuck through the whole movie. You know, but I loved it though. I love that. That's such a good movie. But I don't know if he was like joyful, dude. I wouldn't exactly call him joyful.
Yeah. All right, let's
You know?
2 minutes left. Let's get through this motherfucker.
it was incredibly important for me to just be standing there and enjoying that moment. And yeah, that is one of the top moments in my career. It feels great to have the opportunity to wear it again.
Well, it must be, I mean, as you said, you didn't give up hope, and it's something that, like, you felt the love, feel it here tonight. You've heard the folks online talking about it and people in the streets that you are a Superman for this generation, and it's and it wasn't easy to get here, needless to say. But it strikes me that you said you really, there wasn't a moment where you're like, I've made my peace. If I never play Superman again, all good.
I think there's the thing which every actor has to build into their psyche, which is if it doesn't happen again, I'm not going to let it crush me.
Right.
Because we get told no a lot. It's all part of the job. And with this, it meant so much to me. And I thought, I'm going to let it sit and simmer in the background. I'm going to put the cape in the closet and let it stay there. And when the time comes, it's ready.
Right.
But I never lost hope. And that was the key bit for me, because it felt, when I go out to the supermarket or something and someone's like, hey, Superman.
That was me one time, and I resent you.
It never felt dishonest.
Yeah.
I never felt like I was living a lie. And so I never gave up hope, and it was always there. I was just waiting for the time to come back.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you sharing. This is his first.
That's awesome.
You know, I didn't know, Matt, that actually happened until just recently, within the past maybe, well, when Sons of Anarchy ended, okay? That's when I started realizing. I didn't realize that actors and actresses can get so wrapped up into those roles that when they don't get to play them again, or when the show ends or the trilogy's over, it crushes them. They get depressed and they don't know what to do with their life. Charlie Hunnam, that plays Jax in Sons of Anarchy, he said he went through that shit for 2 years. He didn't know what to do with his life because Sons of Anarchy had ended.
Well, I
and
think
then you hear, Cavill say the same thing just now. Don't let it crush you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you figure for someone like Hunnam, he played Jax for 7 seasons, and then before then, do you know he was on a show called Undergrad or Undeclared back in 2001?
He was also in a really great underground independent European movie called Hooligans. It was about soccer hooligans.
Oh, and I've heard of that one. I've never seen it, but I've heard of that
with
one.
him and the kid that played Frodo, Elijah Wood.
Oh God.
And no, it's amazing. It's so amazing. It's so good. It's got who's the guy that's in Gangs in New York, and he's in this new movie with Colin Farrell now. He's that Irish actor that everybody loves.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, okay, it's got him in it too, and it's incredible. And Charlie Hunnam he's good in everything he does, man. Like I just watched him recently again in that Guy Ritchie movie with the Gentleman. He's amazing.
I haven't seen that one yet. I haven't seen that.
He's just Charlie Hunnam's great in that. But I always figured most people were like Harrison Ford, like, can we get done with the Star Wars shit so I can actually go have a career? That's how Harrison Ford used to think. So I didn't realize that. I always thought most people were trying to get the fuck away from the TV role they were in. But a lot of these actors, they get crushed by it. They play it for so many seasons, they don't know what to do. I just now realized that was a thing. I just thought that was method actors that did that. Not everyday people.
I think I think a lot of time you've got, actors get caught up in the role because they're they have to make it part of them, right? It becomes who they are. So that's a big part. But there's a couple quick here super chats. Hold on, I want to get to those. All right. Command Unit here says he also mentioned his growing 40K mini collection. It does not surprise me when it comes to Henry Cavill. Rational for 5 says, Matt, have you seen August Underground Trilogy? It's a found footage of serial killers taping themselves going on a killing spree. I haven't. Sounds interesting. I'll have to check out the trailer.
Corey told me about it, but it's a little bit dark. Like, I can watch Henry once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, after a while, it's just a little too real.
Well, it's kind of like the Poughkeepsie tapes, right? Or the Poughkeepsie tapes.
The Poughkeepsie tapes. Yeah.
Which is like, like those guys, like, that movie fucks with you. That came out. I was working at the theater in LA and I watched it. And I'm talking with one of my, or it came out before I was working at the theater in LA. I'm talking with one of my coworkers there who was a big horror movie buff. And I'm like, oh, did you see the Poughkeepsie tapes? And he's all like, no. And I'm like, oh, you should totally watch it. And I pimped him up on it. Right. I totally talked him up on it.
Oh,
and he went to go watch. He comes back. He's like, you fucking asshole. It's like, you're such a dick. It's like, that movie's fucked up. And I'm all like, yeah, I know. Right. I'm
when
like,
I was young, Henry
spread the
fucked
love,
me up.
man.
I knew there was something. I was young when I saw Henry, and I was like, you know what? There's just something about this that feels a little too real. Michael Rooker was great in that. He was a young actor at the time. You talk to Michael Rooker now, he says he maybe not would have took that role because it was too, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. That's a fucked up movie, man.
I've actually never seen it. I've never seen it. So
it's dark, bro. It's dark. I prefer things like Seven or The Ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, with compelling enough stories to go alongside it. So, I think that's a big part.
That's why I love those so much, just because they have great stories. A lot of people think The Ring sucks. I don't. I think Seven's a fucking masterpiece. I think Fincher was so far ahead of his time, people didn't know what to do with him. I'm one of the few people you're ever going to find on the planet that likes Alien 3.
I think, I remember not hating Alien 3 the multiple times I've seen it, but I also didn't hate Alien Resurrection.
Oh, I hate Alien Resurrection.
No, I'm not. It's not a good movie, but I don't remember disliking it. And there's elements of it that I like
because it has such a good cast. Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman. Like, come on, how do you fuck up that cast?
You're forgetting about Dan Hayata.
Yeah,
right?
dude, yeah.
And it was written by Joss Whedon.
I know. Why the fuck did it end up so shitty?
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Even the part where the aliens swam, that was new, so it was cool. I was like, oh shit, these motherfuckers can swim. But
and then of course, like the rocket blowing him up in the water was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
Brad
really
Dourif was in the movie. Fucking Chucky was in the movie.
Yeah, he was the doctor.
The doctor. Yeah, man. Like
he was a scientist fucking with the aliens, and they got his ass. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Real quick, we got Command Unit here has a video to check out at the end. All right. Is this Inquisitor Martyr? Is this another trailer? Is this another toy trailer? I got slammed by them over the toy trailer, one of those other ones. So we got to be careful on that.
Did you see I showed it on my video not too long ago, and I know you guys don't in the daytime, you guys are sleeping or working, don't really have time to watch my streams, but they have a radio controlled, I'm not even kidding, dude, Optimus Prime that transforms, bro. It fucking transforms for real.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
no,
the
I've
size
seen
of
that.
a couch. It's not really that big, but it's you saw it, you know what I'm talking about then?
I think so, yeah, I think so.
It's so fucking dope. I saw that shit. I was like, I gotta have it. I looked it up. They wanted 12 grand. I was like, never mind.
Yeah. I know. You're like, well, where do I get that kind of fuck you money?
I can't imagine the engineering that goes into something like that. You know, even the old toys, the engineering to like make it turn into a robot and then back into a semi-tractor trailer truck. I don't know.
They make it work, man. They make it work here. Hold on, though. We got Moisture for 2. Thank you, buddy. He says, I love Prometheus. Prometheus is a fine movie. I don't really care for the ending, but I like the beginning, the first 2/3 quite a bit. And then Anthony here for 2 says, play the Zach video with Henry. All right. I actually have it queued up right here. Let me take a look at this.
Wait, that's a real thing?
About, of course, Zack Snyder, who's meant so much to your career. He obviously remains an ardent fan of yours.
Yep.
Little surprise for you, Henry. I reached out to Zach, and he sent something in.
Uh-oh.
Let's look at a message from Zack Snyder for Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Wow.
Henry, I have a question. When we first did Man of Steel, and we were doing the flying shots for the first time, and we put you in the belly pan or on the wires, I can't remember which we did first. Did it feel odd to be, just there in front of the green screen, doing your flying, shots, with us just touching the camera, and you having to act like you're flying, but before you had ever seen what it might look like or what it might feel like? How was that? Was that odd, and did you expect it to turn out the way it did? So that's my question. I can't wait to work with you in the future, and you are, of course, the greatest Superman ever.
He's a lovely man. He's a lovely man, and I'm enormously appreciative of everything he's done for me, especially by casting me in Man of Steel. Those are formative memories of mine, career-wise. It was when everything changed, and I remember them fondly. Yeah. I remember fondly hanging above fields. It was Illinois, and just outside of Plano. Amazing memories and a lot to be thankful for. So, Zach, if you're watching on one of these many cameras, thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, very nice.
What was that thing Zach was standing in front of?
That's Rebel
spaceship
Moon.
from Rebel Moon. He's on the set.
It looked really cool.
Yeah, a lot of green scheme. That ship that they built looks really cool. Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Hold
on though, Matt. Hold on though. He said, "I can't wait to work with you again."
Don't even fucking start.
Don't start,
Don't
RJ.
even fucking start.
He's back.
We were having such a nice fucking stream,
right,
and then you got to do this shit.
I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No, it's no. I mean, for one, I think we'd all be happy if he came back.
Of course,
all right, but I think at this point it's gonna go to
Zach knows, man. He knows.
I think it's gonna go to James Gunn. If I'm being honest, that's my take.
I don't know. There's rumors of another filmmaker right now.
Care to talk about that?
If you want.
I mean, well, that's your
not really mine. I just saw it on Twitter.
Oh, you saw it on? Okay, I thought that was one that.
No. I mean, the rumor is that it's going to be David Yates.
Yeah, that okay. I didn't want to bring it up because I wasn't too sure if that was the one you had said. that you could talk about or not.
No, something else. No,
What do you mean that you can't talk about? Are you a fucking scooper now, RJ?
No, it's just like somebody said something on their Patreon. I don't want to reveal stuff.
All right,
I feel
So
like-
what the fuck? The whole point of the Patreon is to reveal stuff.
Not
The whole-
publicly.
You do know that people write articles based upon that Patreon.
Not this person's.
Oh, it's not RPK.
No.
Oh.
If it was RPK, I wouldn't have any issue spoiling it. It gets published anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, I think like what is it? You've got
The
so as
whole
for,
world. I'm sorry.
no, so well the thing is as for David Yates,
Yeah, it's
Yates.
been circulating in the rumor sphere for the last day.
So the thing with David Yates is RJ would prefer somebody else.
Only because I feel like it's a boring choice. I really do. I mean,
It is.
it's a very safe choice.
It's a
to
very
be
safe
honest.
choice. Yeah. So as I said to RJ and Caden backed me up on this one as well. David Yates directed the last 4 Harry Potter movies and all 3 of the Fantastic Beasts movies, as well as that Legend of Tarzan.
movie, yeah.
Yeah.
All Warner Brothers. He's a
All Warner Brothers.
holder.
No. I think the
those are
Tarzan was not
all-
Warner's. I think that was somebody else. I think that was
No,
Sony.
it was Warner's. It was
Was
Warner's.
it Warner? Okay.
Yeah.
So
He's
so
exclusively a Warner Brothers guy. He's a good
he's
good
a
soldier
company
for
man.
them.
He's
Yeah.
a company man. He's a safe, reliable director who brings in movies on time, and probably under budget to an extent. At least on time. So, and his movies have done very well. I mean, look, say
Except
what
for
you
the last
will.
2 Fantastic
That's
Beasts
but
movies.
I think those have more to do with the scripting than anything else.
I agree. Here's the issue, though. This is what I said to somebody else. David Yates is a director who does some decent cinematography, some very decent direction. But if you don't give him a good script, he's not the kind of director who can turn crap into a golden egg. So the real story of this movie is who's going to write it. You have to have a really good writer and a really good producer behind this to support David Yates.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the producer will probably end up being Peter Safran
And James Gunn.
and James Gunn. And I think that Gunn will probably write most of the script.
Or
And I would prefer if they gave to somebody else to direct.
Is he gonna
or-
have time now to do shit like that with him being
Hold on,
executive?
Yeah.
Or you take Christopher McQuarrie's script and you retool it. You bring on Christopher McQuarrie. to
Well,
write this
I mean,
movie.
Chris McQuarrie has punched up scripts before in the past.
But he wrote that pitch. He wrote that script in that pitch for a Superman
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
So take
And we don't
that
and we don't
rework it.
even know what that pitch is yet. We don't know what that script
No,
is.
we don't. But I'm saying, like,
But-
if he's available and he can't direct it, he should write it.
Yeah.
You know, Rational, I can't tell if you're joking or not, but I would absolutely get behind a Kevin Smith written Superman story. I'm not kidding.
I don't know, man.
Well,
I don't
you
know.
know
Bro,
what?
he
Here-
was supposed to write one before.
Well, he did write it before. He did write
with
it,
the
but it
polar
never got
bears and all that
made.
shit, yeah.
The gigantic spider popped up in fucking
that's
Wild
because,
Wild West instead.
That's because Barbara Streisand's husband was making him do that shit, though. You know what I mean?
Who was it? John Peters?
It was
I
John.
can't
Yeah, it
remember,
wasn't. It
yeah.
wasn't John. It wasn't Brolin. It was John Peters, the producer. Yeah. No. I mean, definitely like Smith. Here's the thing. Like the way Smith wrote the graphic novel, like for Daredevil, and his Green Arrow stuff was really good. I think Kevin Smith could craft a movie. I don't know if Kevin Smith now could craft a movie like that. I don't think his heart is in it on that particular front. But at the same time,
I don't think
what
he'd want to either.
probably
After-
not. Well, after the He-Man thing, he doesn't
That's what I'm
like.
saying. I feel like he's more
Yeah.
comfortable just being a fan. And just
Yeah,
like seeing other
but at the
people.
same time though, they are doing another season of He-Man, but I will say those 10 episodes were really good for Masters, for Masters of the Universe Revelations. That was really good. Solid acting, solid directing. He oversaw that, and the showrunner actually does rewrite all of the scripts. So, while you'll see the individual writers for the episode, the showrunner will be the one that gives the final polish and gives the final sign off on it. And most of the time, they don't take credit for it. They give it to the writer, because the writer will then get residuals on that particular episode. That's actually been a thing being brought up in like writer Twitter or screenwriter Twitter, but just recently. But I think the work that Kevin Smith did with He-Man, I think he could write something really compelling. Like maybe get him and Mark Bernardin in together to write a pitch. I think Bernardin would be a
Mark's
good.
a good
Bernard
writer, too.
does work on a
Yeah.
lot more movies and TV.
Yeah, I
and
think if you
comics
got
and
them
all that.
together to do it, but I mean I wouldn't mind if you were to tell me Kevin Smith writing a Superman movie directed by like Chris McQuarrie or some shit. Well, it wouldn't even be Chris McQuarrie because like
I
he would write his
know.
own thing. He'd
Well,
write his own thing.
I think everybody wants to be McQuarrie. I just don't think that's what's going to happen.
I mean, look, coming off of the Mission Impossible stuff, it's going to take a couple years to get there. He may want to, but he also may
Remember,
want to
he
take a bit of a break.
he has all those other Tom Cruise movies, so like the one he's going to film in space. So
That's Doug Liman. That's not McQuarrie.
oh, my bad. He's writing
And
that though. He's writing that. I thought.
Okay, well, he's probably already written it. They had a lot of downtime during
Basically,
COVID.
what I'm saying is that McQuarrie's busy. He's busy. So unless they really move fast in this and they go to him and say, "Hey, we want to actually do your pitch now,"
I think
don't know
we
what's
should
gonna
write
happen.
it. I bet we could write a good Superman story.
I don't know.
I would probably take another completely unrelated story and then just slap on Superman and go call it a day.
Or Matt, what about this?
Plagiarism.
Matt, what about this?
What?
So the Superman movies could take 2 years anyway, right? Because they have to take writer pitches. What if they go into the archives, they grab a file that has a certain initial on it, they wait for a certain contract to expire, and they bring in Zachary Edward Snyder to write and direct Man of Steel 2, 2025 release date.
So
See, here's the thing with that though: is Snyder's his writing is not his strongest point. So, but Goyer wrote the script for Man of Steel.
Or they hire David S. Goyer to write the Superman movie.
I mean, I could see
The
that.
direct-
Well,
the-
Goyer
They
is largely
hired David Yates. They hire David Yates. He drops out due to scheduling conflicts for a new Harry Potter movie, and Zack Snyder flies in to save the day to direct the movie, surprising everyone because that was the plan all along.
making my head hurt.
I don't know.
Oh my god! Now you're just literally fucking reaching.
I am. That's the joke. That's the joke.
Let's see. This is here. It says Masters of the Universe Revelations was so good. He-Man wasn't even until 6 episodes later. Actually, He-Man popped up in episode 4. Adam did. He was in episode 1 and he popped up again in episode 5.
He was
No,
still
episode
the
4.
hero.
He was still the hero of the story, dude. He's still very much. Geeks here says David S. Goyer did Krypton. It was so good. I've heard good things about it.
Krypton was supposed to tie in the movies, but never ended up happening.
Yeah, then they fucked it up. As they always do. They always fuck it up. I would say in essence, bringing in like I don't know what they're gonna fucking do. Okay, like bring in.
Listen, this movie's years out anyway. Let's make that clear. This is at least this movie may not even start filming for another 2 years. So
Yeah. Well, here, Mo with the worst take of the night. Keep Kevin Smith away from everything. He's a hack.
Yeah, he's a hack.
He's a If you haven't seen Clerks 3, Clerks 3 made me like literally tear up. It was
Bro,
really good.
I picked the wrong fucking time in my life to watch that movie.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I started watching and I started getting emotional. Then the heart attack shit started happening, and it was like art imitating life, bro. And I'm like, this is so good. This is maybe one of my favorite things Kevin Smith has ever done, and that's saying a lot. Clerks 3 is so well done, bro. It's so fucking good, man. I was a wreck at the end of that shit, Matt.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
was
it was
fucking wrecked, bro.
It hit me hard
I've
at the
heard
end of
nothing
that thing.
good things about it.
Because I had like real life shit going on, you know.
Rachel
Yeah.
brings up an interesting point. What if it was Chloe Zhao? Directing
No.
Man of Steel 2?
No.
You haven't even
No.
seen Eternals. You haven't even seen Eternals.
No.
You haven't even seen
No.
it.
No.
I
No.
say we just
Have
get
not-
Patty
no,
Jenkins.
no,
I say we just
no,
get Patty Jenkins
no,
to do it.
Hold on.
No.
Not even
No to
the
both
movie.
of
You
those.
can't
No
say
to
no.
both of
You
those.
can't say no if you haven't seen Eternals.
Oh my fuck! I've seen that. I've seen enough sunsets, RJ. Okay.
You haven't seen
But-
the movie. So
Fine.
you know.
Fine. My initial take to that is no. But once I watch Eternals, I will also confirm
It
no.
feels like a Zack Snyder movie.
I did. You're the first asshole to say that, by the way. And all this time, that year that movie's been out now, you're the first person I've heard say it's like a Zack.
Who did do Edge of Tomorrow, guys?
That was Doug Liman.
He's a good choice too.
Doug Lyman is Doug Lyman would be a good choice. I'd be
That's
down
not
for
a
that.
bad idea at all.
He also
man.
did the first Bourne movie, which I thought was excellent.
Oh,
Listen, Phantom Menace else. People
Rocking
want
the
people
shit,
want
man.
Matthew Vaughn, but the Snyder fans would lose their shit. They do not want Matthew Vaughn.
and I like the Oblivion.
I would take
too, and I
Matthew
always
Vaughn
forget
in a
who
heartbeat.
directed that.
Yeah,
one?
but Matthew Vaughn wants that Boy Scout shit you don't like. So
No, well, no. I look Matthew Vaughn. With a decent enough director and writer behind it. If it was Matthew Vaughn and his writing partner who did like Stardust and Kingsman, I forget her name right now. But she's really talented. If they were working on it together, I'd be okay. I'd be.
by
okay
the way,
with that.
Matt, just so you know, Chloe Zhao was inspired by Man of Steel and Making Eternals.
God damn it! I'm gonna fucking shut the fuck up, Archer. Jesus.
I'm just saying, she loves Superman. She's inspired by Man of Steel.
All right, I'm gonna
That's one of
flip
her
a
favorite
coin.
Superman
It's either
movies.
Chloe Zhao or Ava DuVernay. Hold on.
Oh God, not Ava, not Ava. Please, no, not Ava.
Oh shit, Tails, Ava DuVernay.
Oh
No.
shit! Don't let Saggy hear you say that, RJ. She's gonna come out and start
Oh,
yelling
does
at
Saggy
you.
like Ava?
Does Saggy like Ava?
No, but it's RJ attacking a prominent black woman.
It's not my fault. Her first blockbuster was absolute garbage.
Phantom Menace Elsier says Tim Miller. I would do that in a heartbeat. I think Tim Miller would bring.
I think Tim Miller's gonna do a smaller action movie first.
I would,
because
yeah. I really want to see Tim Miller direct more because I love Deadpool. I liked Dark Fate, but that's a whole
Dark
other
Fate's
argument.
not his fault. Dark Fate, he shouldn't be punished.
I
for
went
Dark
off
Fate.
the other night about Dark Fate.
I know you did, and I don't think it's. I don't think
I'm
it's a very
still
good
mad.
movie.
I'm still mad, bro. You get Cameron to finally fucking come back. It's my. By the way, guys, that is my favorite franchise of all time. As much as I love comics, as much as a Star Wars nerd as I am, all of it. Terminator and Aliens are the ones that resonated with me as a kid the most. And I'm telling you, I love Terminator, and they've been fucking Terminator up since like.
But I'll tell you why they've been fucking it up though.
Decades, bro.
I'll tell you why though. There are some stories that don't need continuations.
Exactly.
There are some things
I
that
agree. It should have
Part
ended with
two
number
ended
two.
so
Number two just
perfectly.
should've been
Number two
done.
ended it, and it ended it well enough. I will admit though, the 11 years later, when Terminator 3 came out, that ending of Terminator 3 was really good.
No, the ending was
I
great.
liked Rise of
And
the
I
Machines.
didn't mind-
Was
but it
great.
was
I
kind of
didn't
an
mind
FU
Christiane
ending, though.
Loken as a Terminatrix.
Yeah,
Nick Stahl didn't bother me that much with Claire Danes.
I thought he was okay. I thought he
yeah,
was
you
pretty
know,
good as Connor.
I did
but
like how different it was. You didn't have space tanks and laser guns. You had like rolling cranes and dump trucks and shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
And all your
yeah,
action
yeah.
scenes. So it was very different. I didn't hate it. It bothered me.
that. Do you know that
Sarah wasn't
movie?
there.
That movie opened July 10th, 2003. It opened a week after Pirates of the Caribbean. If you want to feel fucking old.
Oh yeah,
Wow, I do
didn't
feel
Pirates like
fucking old.
demolish it too?
Pirates
Oh, yeah,
demolished
yeah.
everything that
Pirates
summer, man.
demolished
That's
everything.
what
That
I'm saying,
movie-
That-
You know how many times I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean? I've talked about this before. I've seen
Curse
it
of
like
the Black
over-
Pearl is the best one.
probably
over
like 60.
over 65 times
Yeah.
Yeah, I
because
can
of the
believe that.
drive-in. We had it playing at the drive-in twice nightly. This was in 03 before we
Let
had
me
like,
guess. Let me guess. It was the most popular choice of the drive-in.
oh my God, dude, 11 weeks. 11 weeks it played with Finding Nemo in a double feature.
Let
I
me
just
guess.
didn't like that.
I'm gonna
think
make a
part of
wild
the
prediction.
reason-
I'm gonna make a wild prediction real quick. I'm gonna guarantee that the Finding Nemo Pirates double feature is probably the most profitable thing ever at the drive-in.
I mean, like back in 03, we did 188,000 for the month of June or for the month of July that year. And that was big for us because when I first started working there 2 years prior, we had ended the year with like $680,000 for the year. And that was our best year ever. Pirates of the Caribbean that summer 03 jumped us up to over $1 million. And then after that, we started doing more and we started ending out the year with like $2 million, which is just a lot for us in a small
That's
little
a ton
small
of
crew.
money for a
It's
drive-in.
ton of money coming into the drive-in. And I don't know where it's at now. I hear it hasn't been as good, but honestly, when I left, the shit started falling apart. Everyone got real fucking lazy.
Kind
and-
of
but
like
that-
Terminator.
well, I mean, like I was the asshole that's like liked my job. And so you know how it is if you're good at your job, you get rewarded with more work.
Yeah.
That's like generally how it went. Like my crew, I love those guys. I still talk to those guys. I still love those guys, but a lot of them still work there, which is, I've been gone 7 years and they still work there. And so it's just fucking hysterical to me how that gets. But okay, let's play this clip here real quick because we still have a lot more to talk about still. So this is from Command Unit here. This is Henry Cavill talking about Warhammer 40K. Of course, Henry Cavill's a massive Warhammer
Yeah, I know he's a
fan.
big gamer. Yeah.
So they're going to talk about that a little bit here.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about gaming. How much time have you been carving out for your gaming life?
A fair amount. When I say a fair amount, that probably means a lot for those who don't get it.
Just 4 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, maybe more. I have been playing Warhammer Total War, Warhammer 3 Total War. And yes, some people of culture in the audience. I love that game. It's so good. It's so good.
Are your friends and family supportive of your... For instance, a friend, a loved one comes home and sees that you're painting a Warhammer figurine.
Yeah.
Is that a conversation? Is that just understood, like, this is what you signed up for, this is Henry?
Okay, right. Most friends and loved ones know about that, and it's no shock. A lot of my family are into it, but I've definitely had people over at my house and very proudly showed them my miniatures, and they're like, okay. Yeah, and you can see them going, oh yeah, that's really good. And you can just see them thinking, God, get me out of here, I need another beer. I can't pretend to be interested this long.
Do you have a most treasured...
That's...
What would happen if like Command Unit went to Henry Cavill's house, look at his Warhammer collection?
We would never hear from him again. I don't think.
Really?
I don't think we would hear from Command Unit again. It'd be like, where did he go? Last I heard, he was in the UK. Somehow found Henry Cavill's address, and I don't know. And
then we find out Henry Cavill and him are just playing video games together like nonstop.
It's gonna be like that movie Swimming with Sharks, where he just breaks in and holds Henry Cavill hostage, like, you will play Warhammer with me. And then Henry's like, I can break free at any time, but you piqued my interest, and all right, fine.
I need a war
Emperor.
No, that could be like a movie where like Henry Cavill needs a Warhammer buddy, and then Command Unit shows up.
There you go. That's the script for a movie right there, right? Like, it breaks into Henry Cavill's house, not to kidnap him, but to play video games with him.
And Henry Cavill's like totally fine with this.
You know what? He probably would be, to an extent, because like, he's a big dude who probably knows how to fight. So he could easily like fight back. But if you're like, hey bro, like I just came to check out your minifigs, and he'd be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, oh yeah, you're no threat. Like, you're no threat. Like, I'll put the kettle on. Sort of situation.
How hard do you think he is behind the scenes right now, pushing for them to make a live action Warhammer movie that he could be in?
Dude.
I'll tell you this: when the time is right for them to do it,
he's gonna clear his schedule just to be a part of something.
Well, that was how The Witcher came about. He's a huge Witcher fan, and Netflix had picked up the rights to it, and that was right at the time he was getting let go from Superman, and they were doing the press tour for Mission Impossible, and that came up in conversation, and then like, what do you know? A couple weeks later, you find out he's got the part, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's perfect fucking casting," Yeah. And so, I mean,
did you hear about? Well, totally off topic, but did you hear about the show or one of the writers and showrunners, like Bu DeBio, saying that the writers and most of the showrunners actually hate the games and the books? And
I did hear that.
And that him and Cavill had to advocate for changes all the time.
I did hear about that, and I think it was H Barts that sent me that piece, and we were talking about that, and I'm like, well, the thing is with that, like, because the guy that guy has a show now that he's doing.
Well, he left. He's working with Marvel now. He's doing X-Men 97, and he's working on the Blade script.
He's the showrunner of that, and he said that as a result of his experience on The Witcher.
It's like, we're not doing this again. We're gonna make sure
you have to be a fan.
Love the
you have to be a fan. Yeah.
This.
And I think, I think that's both good and both bad. And so what I mean by that is, like, for the most part, yes, obviously people who are fans, you want them to be fans. You want them to dive into this stuff.
Listen. It's a case by case basis, because sometimes it's okay if you're not a fan. Other times it's bad because the writers think they know better than the source material or the people who made it, and you get shit like the Halo show. Okay,
Halo's a masterpiece. What are you talking about?
No, the Halo series on Paramount Plus.
No, the Halo series on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. We got to see Master Chief naked and everything, man. What are you guys talking about? It's Master.
Yeah, we got to see him bone an alien chick, and that apparently caused the fall of Reach. Yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck that.
I mean, if you think about it, that's some chicks out there just got beer flavored nipples, man, cause destruction.
But she's not even that interesting either.
I don't. I honestly, like, I didn't watch the show. I couldn't have my heart broken. I was like,
It broke my heart a little bit. Like, I tried. I was like, okay, they showed his face in the first episode. Okay, whatever. But that's when I was like,
well, everybody's like, Chris,
more and more.
Just hang into the big battle.
I know. I was hanging in there. Like, there's some cool moments. It's like,
and then the very next episode was garbage. So I was like, I'm done. I am done, dude.
I figure I'll check it out before the next season starts, because I have a feeling like, because they did greenlight it, and they got to knock this season out.
I don't know how you save the show though, Matt. I really don't.
Here's the thing. Are they at the end of the season? It's Reach that goes down. They're not even at the ring yet.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Because that's the thing. If once they get to the
once it gets to the ring, then yeah.
To the ring, it's on. Like, it's on. Because even Fall of Reach, to like, a lot of people don't know about the Fall of Reach. So I mean, look, I've read the book. I own the animated little thing that they did on Blu-ray. You know, I love. I mean, there's.
I'm just saying that Halo is an example of, like, you needed a fan in there to be like, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah,
well, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Also, is the woman who was at 343 who was in charge. She recently stepped down.
Oh yeah, Bonnie Ross left, but that's because Halo Infinite's just been like a complete.
Well,
shit show.
She said family issues, and I think that was a part of it.
No, it's because of Halo Infinite, man. She left because of that embarrassment.
Aren't they getting rid of? They're shutting down 343.
No,
they?
Well,
here's no.
Can I? Well, my take on that is this: when Halo Infinite, or when they finally acquire Activision, because it's going to happen. Exactly. When they finally acquire Activision,
because Sony's putting so much pressure right now. I don't know.
They're
trying really hard.
Sony's trying really hard to stop it, but at the same time, Sony just invested all this money into From Software, and if they try to make any of the next,
there's also rumors they're trying to buy CD Projekt Red.
I've heard that as well. I haven't heard that one. I've heard like they want to get other rumors.
That one's brand new. This happened like the last day. Apparently, there's a really strong rumor they're trying to get CD Projekt Red.
I mean, fuck you. I want the Witcher remake on Xbox. I mean, even Phil Spencer actually at this point is talking about multiplat. Like he said that because he talked about I think it was Call of Duty, because Modern Warfare 2 just came out, and he said that there's like 200 was like he's like there's like something like a lot of 3 billion people game or something, and only 200 million people use consoles. So it's like there's a lot of other devices out there you can play games on. So it's like he doesn't want to limit it. It's because it's like he wants to treat Call of Duty like Minecraft is what he wants. What I think the best course of action would be to acquire Activision and then like hand over Halo to like fucking, in Sledgehammer or some shit, or Infinity Ward or whatever. Right. Although who does Black Ops? That's
Infinity Ward does Modern Warfare. Sledgehammer does World War II, and they do the Advanced Warfare.
Is it Neversoft?
No, and then it's
who is the guy's?
I'm looking it up. It's on the tip of my tongue. Black Ops developer.
I should know this because I should know this, but I don't remember.
Treyarch.
Treyarch. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah. I could see them like giving it to Treyarch or whatever the fuck.
I would give it to Infinity Ward.
I think Infinity Ward would be better. Yeah. I think
they'd be the better choice.
But the thing is though, handing Halo over to a competent first person shooter, because like 343 has not been able to get Halo right since they've had it.
I mean, listen, Halo Force campaign, I really liked. Multiplayer, I don't remember much at all. I just played the campaign. Halo 5, garbage campaign. Multiplayer was okay. Halo Infinite, campaign was good. I liked what they were doing with that. It was interesting. It was like a nice little reset for the franchise. The multiplayer, it had a good start, but they stopped supporting it. And it's just like, it was not ready to launch. They launched it too early, and they just didn't support the game with content.
Yeah, that's a big problem. That's a really big problem. And I think going over to Activision, those guys over there would do a better job at that. Or hell, going over to Blizzard and go like, hey, Overwatch team, do something. No, sorry.
No,
I caught myself before I said it. I caught myself before I said it
They
here.
still got to work on making sure Overwatch is okay.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Jess here for 5. Thanks, buddy. Says for movies based on geek properties, should have a lore keeper to basically keep certain ideas and lores in the movies. Well, that's kind of what Henry Cavill's doing with Witcher, by the way.
He's trying to, but he's also an actor, and you can't control what the writers want to do most of the time.
Well, no, I would. What they need to do is he needs to renegotiate to be a producer.
Yeah, that'd be smart of him to do if he could.
So,
because I didn't watch I haven't. This is sacrilege, I know. I haven't seen Witcher, but I did hear from a lot of people that they liked season 1, but season 2 was not nearly as good. Like season 2,
I enjoyed season 1 quite a bit. Season 2, I haven't finished it. Something happened. I need to go and check that out. But I would argue, like from what I saw, I really enjoyed, and I think that's fine. I think look, it's one of those things where it was really, really, really big for Netflix. It really is. So they're working on it. And sometimes these shows take a little bit of time to get going, and the COVID shut a lot of shit down and it hurt a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But now we're finally getting back in the swing of things. So here's the thing. You guys answer questions in the chat. I gotta go to the bathroom. I've been here for 2 hours. I gotta go potty.
No, it's all good.
So I'll be right back.
We'll hold the fort. So Chris, I didn't get to ask you, out of all the movies you watched today, which one was the scariest?
Oh, the scariest?
I heard Barbarian.
Barbarian, bro. Yeah. Fuck. But in a good way. Not one of those over-the-top jump scares. I don't like a bunch of jump scares. When I was a kid, my ticker could handle it. I can't handle it no more. I don't need a bunch of jump scares. But there was a few of them in there that were worth it. And I was just like, look, I'm alone in my parents' house watching these horror movies. And I'm all by myself, but if it tells you how much I like this movie, when it ended and I heard the closing song, Be my little baby, I started clapping, dude. Alone in my living room. Barbarian was
I still know what
amazing.
I'm apologizing for. What am I apologizing for, Momo? You never explain what I'm apologizing for.
X had the best villain.
I heard X is really good.
X is incredible.
Well, let me ask you, because there's X and then the prequel's Pearl, right?
Yes.
So which one's better, X or Pearl? Which one's better?
They're two totally different kinds of
I know
movies,
they're totally different movies.
X is better. X is better.
Okay.
X is better. But Mia Goth, this chick kills it in everything she's in, bro. There's a scene
I know X also has Jenna Ortega in it.
Well,
too.
They both have Mia Goth. It's weird because Mia Goth plays the heroine,
and then she
plays
the villain. Yeah, she plays
the goddamn villain in Pearl that was from X. It's brilliant because they look exactly alike. But look, the villain in Pearl, or the villain in Pearl is Pearl, but the villain in X is so good. The villain is so fucking good. But Barbarian's scarier. But there's a scene where Mia Goth has to sit at the table, and the character Pearl has to do this long monologue, and it's some of the, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man. It's some of the best acting I've ever seen. Like when people finally do watch Pearl, they're gonna go, "Oh, Chris was talking about this scene." When you watch it, you'll be like, "Oh, this is what Chris was talking about." Watch Mia Goth in action. It's about 5 minutes of the greatest monologue. She's incredible. Where does she come from? I've never seen her before.
Well, the same thing with Jenna Ortega. It's like she was in Scream, and she's in X. Now she's going to be Wednesday Addams in that Wednesday show next month. It's like, where the hell did this girl come from? She's awesome. More Jenna Ortega.
Pearl's so good. It's so different. I like Jenna Ortega in X. X was like, here's the best way I can explain X. X was, if you started the movie and it was Boogie Nights, and then it became Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what X is. But it's very art house. It's very civilized, and it's just so good, dude. It's so. But Barbarian's the one that had me like I was biting my nails to the whole movie. Because what's her name, Georgina? Whatever, she's really good in it. And the clown from It, I didn't recognize him at first, and I was like,
Oh, that's right. Bill Skarsgård is in
I'm
it,
like,
yeah.
is that it? Is that fucking Pennywise?
Right. Momoon, if you felt I lied about you, then I'm sorry. But I honestly don't know what you're talking about, but I'll say I'm sorry anyway. Are you happy?
Mo likes to troll, so you can never really be too aware of what he's up to.
Yeah, so I don't know where she came from. Matt, where did Mia Goth come from?
She met Shia LaBeouf on when they did Nymphomaniac.
Okay, so is she a British actress or?
I don't believe so. I don't believe
She's got this scene in Pearl towards the end where she has to sit at the table and the camera just keeps zooming in on her real slow. And she's talking and crying and her nose is running and it's fucking epic. It's one of the most brilliant scenes I've ever seen in a movie because he was asking me which was the scariest. Well, let me tell you something. Whoever this kid is from Whitest Kid You Know, Gregson, however you say his name.
Zach Gregor.
Dude, he gets it. He's another Jonathan Landis. Remember when everyone was like, the guy from Animal House is going to make a werewolf movie? Well, that's going to suck. And now it's the greatest werewolf movie of all time. Okay.
Well, it's just like Jenna Ortega, because Jenna Ortega, I think, came from like the Disney Channel. And I was like, what?
Comedian. Look, it's the oldest cliche you've ever heard, but comedy comes from a dark place, which is why comedy writers make the best horror. Guys like Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell did Evil Dead. Jonathan Landis did American Werewolf in London. This new kid did Miss March, and then, which is a funny movie, but then you watch Barbarian and you're like, this is some scary shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, he's so good. But so Barbarian was the scariest. X was one of the best slashers I've seen in years. In years, I haven't seen anything this sophisticated, and it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Boogie Nights put together. It's brilliant. But Pearl, that scene at the table, that's what did it for me and made me go, yeah, this Mia Goth chick, she's got it, man. She's got it. And she executive produced Pearl.
Yeah, her and Ty West are tight.
They must. Yeah, he directed it, right? He's the director. Yeah, that dude's good, man. And it's so weird to watch it because it literally takes place on the same farm X took place on. You're like, oh, there's the barn, but it's newer. Oh, look, there's the truck, but it's newer. Oh, shit, the house had actual coat of paint on it. No, Pearl is...
Okay, so can I watch Pearl and then watch X, or do I need to watch X?
No,
and then Pearl?
watch. No. I wanted to. I thought the same thing. Like, should I watch the prequel first? No. Trust me, Matt. Watch X.
Yeah, you have to watch.
Then
X.
watch Pearl.
The way that the director released the movies is intentional. You're meant to watch X first, then Pearl.
It'll blow your mind.
Because if you watch Pearl first, I think it ruins X for you.
And Matt, you're gonna love. You're gonna get it because you're a cinephile like me. You've seen things like Gone with the Wind. You've seen Dorothy and the fucking Yellow Brick Road, Wizard of Oz, and Pearl is set up like that, but it's a horror movie. I swear to God, it has the happy letters from like Wizard of Oz. And it's got this like music. It's dude, I'm telling you, do yourself a favor, take some downtime and watch those 3 horror movies because you won't.
I've got all of them. I've got them all. I'm just I was gonna watch them, but I kind of put that emphasis on Terrifier, just because like that's like the one of the moment. I think I just wanted to like.
It is the one of the moment. But I think your favorite, you're gonna love Barbarian, but I think your favorite out of the 3, even though I know that Greg guy, that's your boy. I know that's your boy. And you've been, but I really think you're gonna like X out of all of them the best.
No, I want to see it. It looks again. I've been having more fun watching horror recently. It's just been like I'll tell you, even the earlier this year when I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one on Netflix, I liked it.
Yeah,
it wasn't great. It wasn't great, but
it wasn't great, but it was fun. That was fun. Chainsaw Massacre movie.
There's nothing wrong with like again.
And then that one I watched from 2006 that everyone's been telling me to watch. And when I tweeted, I talked to Cody Leach once in a while on Twitter and on Instagram, and he's like, "Do yourself a favor, trust me, watch this movie." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'm gonna watch it." So I it's free on YouTube right now. You can watch it. It's called Beyond the Mask: The Rise of Vernon something or other, and it's a documentary set up in a world where Freddy and Jason and Chucky and Mike and Michael Myers, they're all real people. Okay. And this young up and coming serial killer. It sounds so fucking dumb the way I'm explaining it, but I shit you not, it's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. It's so good. It's like if Clerks, it's like if the first Clerks and like Borat made a horror movie. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it, dude. It's so different. And I watched it today and I was like, this shit is brilliant. This is so good. And they've been waiting for a sequel for years and they never got one for some reason. But it's well, Leslie Vernon, that's what it's called. Beyond the Mask. It's called Beyond the Mask. I don't know, The Rise of Leslie Vernon or something, but it's free on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube today. It was free. That's what it's called. Ryan Hartwell got it. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. It's free on YouTube. I watched it today, full movie. And I had a blast with it, guys. Like it's been a long time since I had that kind of fun with a slasher like that. And because this documentarian, she comes in, she's a journalist, she's listening to all the shit he's spouting. Well, I nail the window shut and I got to work on my cardio because, you know, in the movies, we got to look like we're walking real slow or we're really running. You like fucking dude. And she doesn't believe him. And then when she realizes, holy shit, it's for fucking real. Robert Englund plays Loomis. Parody of Loomis. I'm telling you, do yourself a favor, watch this movie. It's right up your alley. I guarantee it, man. It really is. It's Blair Witch meets, I don't know. It's so fucking crazy, dude. And the way it's got the older sister, one of the older sisters from Home Alone is in it. I think she's the main girl that's supposed to be the final girl, or
Taylor, whatever her name is.
Yeah, she's the final girl. She's supposed to be the final girl because they touch on the virgins and only virgins live and blah blah blah. It's so well done. It's so different. I had so much fun with it. I was shocked that it was free on YouTube. So I watched that to get myself in the mood to watch horror movies. Then I was almost too scared to watch Barbarian because at my age now I just don't really like a whole lot of jump scares. But Barbarian didn't have a ton of jump scares. It would just single in on one part of a hallway for too long and you're waiting for the jump scare and then the jump scare never comes. I love when directors do that.
Oh, House of a Thousand Corpses did that.
Yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses bothered me, man. I
watched it one time 20 years ago almost, and that was enough. I was like, all right.
Rob Zombie, he's so inconsistent because you'll watch a movie like House of a Thousand Corpses and you'll go, this is trash. And then you'll watch The Devil's Rejects and you'll go, this is a fucking masterpiece. How did this come from the same guy? You know,
yeah.
and then you'll watch the first Halloween and you'll be like, well, with the exception of all the white trash bullshit, that's a good remake. And then you watch Halloween 2 and you go, why the fuck is Sharon Moon Zombie walking around with a fucking unicorn? Why did Michael Myers talk? What the fuck is going on? Rob Zombie's very inconsistent. Lords of Salem is a good one. That's a scary one. 31, garbage. He's not consistent, man. But you're right. You're right, Tales from the Hood. Devil's Rejects is his masterpiece.
I have seen Devil's Rejects. I love the use of Freebird at the end.
At the end. Yeah. It's
also
it's
like
a great
Danny
movie.
Trejo. Like there's a bunch of like cameos in that movie too.
Diamond Dallas Page is in that motherfucker.
Right, DDP.
Yeah, is in that motherfucker. It's just crazy. So I started with Behind the Mask. I went into Barbarian. And then I had just a ton of fun finishing out my day before I jumped on here with you guys watching X and then Pearl. It was the perfect day for horror, man. It was really good. I get real wrapped up, especially the Halloween weekend. I'll watch all my classic, like Christine, American Werewolf in London, my John Carr, all my favorite stuff. But I like to have something new in there. And I was able to watch 4 movies I hadn't seen. Not to mention that Werewolf by Night's really good.
Yeah, I have a
Disney special.
I have not had the chance to watch that yet. So
you need to watch it, Matt.
Hey, listen, it's we're coming out. I have shit to do tomorrow. Unfortunately, with like the whole
almost Halloween. This is the perfect time to watch it.
I know. I have kids.
The kids have to watch it probably.
I enjoyed the Hellraiser reboot.
I can't watch the Hellraiser reboot with my kids.
Yeah, that's also a really good movie. There's like 10 really great new horror movies that came out that I've watched this Halloween season. I might do a little top 10 countdown, actually. Rank them.
Marcus, what the hell is that question?
Notice my comment, Matt. Notice.
No, he's saying, Matt, have you tried challenging Gary Nerdrotic to a celebrity boxing match?
Yeah, but then before that, he says your fun fact, Nerdrotic is 52 years old. I didn't realize Gary was that old.
Yeah, he is.
I knew Gary was. I knew Gary's older than me.
They're all at Universal Studios right now, celebrating the Elon Musk thing.
Wow, they're
all like tweeting like, "Do you see heel versus babyface's tweet? Be like, there's only two genders." These like a bunch of like.
Oh yeah,
shit.
no, they're absolutely pushing.
Like they're all pushing the boundaries of how much they can say right now.
I know. I honestly like. I'm kind of at the point of like, I'm just I'm ready to move on from Twitter. It's good to communicate with people like privately and whatnot.
DMs. That's the only place I go,
great,
man.
but other than that, it's I mean, and keeping up on news, but like otherwise, the discourse is pretty crazy. All right, so
if I go out in the open on Twitter, it's to keep up with what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
I don't care about what anybody else is saying. Oh, we didn't do the Venom 3 yet.
Yeah, okay. Here's the lead.
The fucking lead, guys. I'm sorry.
I always bury the leads. I always bury the leads. Except when I don't. I keep people on their toes. So this is basically all we know today is Venom 3 has found its next director. It's Kelly Marcel, who wrote the first two movies and produced the first. And she wrote 50 Shades of Grey. She only wrote 50 Shades of Grey, the movie. She did not write the second or third film. But even then, Melissa Rosenberg was I think is the one who did 50 Shades of Grey. It was written by screenplay by Kelly Marcel. I thought Melissa Rosenberg worked on it, but no, she did the Twilight movies. That's right, she did the Twilight movies. So anyway, Kelly Marcel here is a actor producer. Co-wrote Saving Mr. Banks, which I thought was really good.
That was a good movie.
She wrote the story for Cruella.
Saving Mr. Banks. Oh, that's about the Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
But otherwise, like she hasn't. That's her writing credits are Saving Venom 2, Venom 3, Cruella, 50 Shades of Grey, and Saving Mr. Banks. That's it. Those are her writing credits.
But despite that, she is very tight with Tom Hardy.
And that is where we find ourselves. So the idea here that she's going to come in to direct this movie,
she's never directed before, tells me a couple of things. But let's look at this here. So it says exclusive after writing and producing the first two Venom films, Kelly Marcel is ready to make the jump to the director's chair. As sources tell Deadline, she is set to helm Marvel and Sony Pictures Venom 3. Marcel and Hardy will also produce, with Marcel writing the screenplay from a story by Marcel and Hardy. Avi Arad, Matt Tolmach, Amy Pascal, and Hutch Parker are also producing. So plot details are unknown other than she is returning. Then Hardy is returning as a lethal protector. Venom movies have made $1.36 billion at the box office. Right. They do note later on in this article, this is the last movie. This is the final chapter of the Venom story.
So, I mean, like, it makes sense. Heading into the final chapter. But it's such a weird
But it
thing.
says that the two have like been on the same page about the direction they want to take the story. Like,
which means
both, really agree on their take on the character.
Which basically means that Tom Hardy will be doing the lion's share of the work. And she's there to do it. I don't know why you would take in this mind. You could call it $1 billion franchise and give the final movie to a completely untested talent.
Mostly because it's Tom Hardy doing the heavy lifting, I think.
Mostly also it is there's that, and I think they're lowering the budget based upon the results of Let There Be Carnage.
Is that really fair though? Because how much did Let There Be Carnage make like worldwide total? It was like 600 million.
Let me see here.
I mean, they make money. These movies make money.
Yeah, Let There Be Carnage.
Although here's the question though, this one's not gonna be able to rely
507 million.
I absolutely agree with Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace L's. Sony's is a very unserious studio, in my opinion.
They are.
Well, also they really they're just gonna go with the safer bet of just all right, Tom, you know what you're doing. It's fine. Hire your.
But why they made a big deal about Andy Serkis coming on in, and he did a fine job. But
I would have kept him.
Yeah, well, exactly. Why didn't he come back? At the same time, where my biggest complaint with Let There Be Carnage was like it felt so rushed. Like it felt like they cut out so much of the
rushed to a
movie.
post-credit scene.
Yeah, it's
Or
like
they rushed to a post-credit scene that resulted in only another post-credit scene that basically said that this meant absolutely nothing, except for the symbiote is now in the MCU.
Right? It's
Yeah.
so dumb. It's so dumb.
So if you don't remember, I told Matt this at the end of Let There Be Carnage. The cop got this like pieces of the symbiote attached to him because he got attacked by like Carnage's girlfriend or something. So the cop becomes Toxin. So it's probably going to be Venom and Toxin teaming up against the other symbiotes that are still left for them to adapt, and that'll be the end of the trilogy.
Woody Harrelson was totally miscast. Tony's
Well,
right.
I mean, Woody Harrelson was cast because he's friends with Ruben Fleischer, you know, of Zombieland 2.
He probably he wasn't a bad choice. He didn't get to do much in the sequel.
No, he didn't. He really didn't.
Like
And
I
even,
love the backstory where it's like in that animated style because that was really cool and unique. Like him drawing like his life story and like how fucked up he is. But it's like they just didn't do much with them because the runtime was so short.
And they like was it Shriek? I mean, I get why they needed to have another villain in there, but like they didn't need to have Naomi Harris was underutilized in my mind, and I like Naomi Harris.
They need Shriek and Shriek got killed, but like they both died. They killed off Carnage and Shriek at the end. Like, why would you do that?
I don't know. Like, I have no idea what the hell they're up to with that.
Shriek died in a stupid way. Didn't like the Bell Crusher or something?
Yeah.
And then Carnage got eaten. Venom ate his head.
I don't get it. Like, it's so
unless they're gonna somehow bring them back.
You know, I mean, it's like they could probably figure out a way.
I understand your question. Where do you take the story?
Yeah, there's always it's the comics. There's always a way to bring these people back.
Without Spider-Man, though, what's the point?
Yeah,
that's exactly
okay. So
what I'm saying.
okay. Here's what I'm thinking. All right, this is the final Venom movie in this chapter. But what if the symbiote? It's because it's a hive mind, right? So they can follow through the multiverse. Obviously, Secret Wars is going to have a thing with that, right? Like, isn't it like the planet of the symbiotes?
Okay, so there is connective tissue there. I see what you're saying. Yeah, there is some.
The original 80 Secret Wars storylines when Peter Parker donned the symbiote costume for the first time, and though we didn't know it was a symbiote, all we knew was that it was a black costume.
Well,
so that's when he first wore it.
Yeah, but
plus also just real quick, they established at the end of Let There Be Carnage. They hinted that the hive mind existed. They also hinted that the planet of the symbiotes existed, which is controlled by Null, the symbiote god or whatever. The guy looks like the Grim Reaper looking dude, like the armor, who's a badass character. It's an awesome storyline. Although, doesn't Marvel own part of that? I don't know.
I think so, yeah. That's why there was talks about Null being in Thor: Love and Thunder. There was rumors about that for a while. But what if the symbiote decides to find that version of Eddie Brock and travels to New York or to Frisco to find Eddie Brock and then bring Eddie Brock to Spider-Man or something like that, right?
Oh, like we just jumped universes, like we end the storyline. So basically, we end the storyline of the Venom in this universe, but then we jump to another universe to follow the next Venom, Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of convoluted.
It's Sony.
It's Sony. That's true. It's Sony.
Wait. Who's the Eddie Brock in the MCU?
What if it's Tom Hardy again?
Just another Tom Hardy that we just existed.
Just another variant. It'd be another variant. Yeah. I mean, because obviously they're doing something with it. They wouldn't have done that otherwise. They needed to bring Venom over to this universe, and like, okay, I get it. And now that Venom is here, that symbiote's here. Cool. Well, we don't know what they plan on doing with it. There's been no movement that we know of.
Some bartender. That's all we know. Like it got on the bartender.
No, that was the Venom that was the Eddie Brock from the Sonyverse who got transported because of Doctor Strange's spell.
That's what I'm talking about, the MCU version.
And how did that even work anyway?
I don't know.
They didn't really listen to Sony. They didn't give a shit. They just wanted the cameo.
How did this happen? So listen, I'll say this, right? All my criticism about Black Adam and the Cavill cameo at the end of that thing just in regards to it being a ploy to get people to go see the movie. At least they seem to have a plan for what they want to do.
Well, they know what they're playing. They know what they were doing
they know,
before they filmed it.
Yeah, they know what they want to do. Sony, on the other hand, just kind of feels like, can we just add this?
We just want it because we need the clout.
I wonder. I got to be honest. They knew they couldn't compete with MCU, but I'm wondering if Sony didn't think, hey, even without Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse is pretty strong. People will come out to see these characters like Morbius and Venom and Carnage, and I think they thought they had something, and they just didn't. It wasn't written well. Like the Spider-Verse is a pretty strong chunk of comics there, man. Like they own the rights to Spider-Man for the most part. Sony's got good characters. They just haven't used them well. I mean, the first Venom was okay, but second one was ass. I didn't like it.
I mean, it was entertaining enough in my mind. It was entertaining enough, but like, yeah, I was kind of like, all right, like whatevs with it, you know. Not the best thing they could have done, I think. Just kind of drives me up the wall. But
yeah, I'm with you on that. That's one I don't understand, the Sonyverse. I just don't get it. I don't know what they're going for. I don't know where they're heading. It just seems like a bunch of stories that end with a big fat nothing burger.
I honest to God, I've said this for a long time and I stand by this. I really fucking blame Avi Arad.
I don't even think it's Avi Arad. I think it's Avi Arad and Tom Rothman. Tom Rothman just fucking sucks, dude. He's the same guy who ran Fox during their worst years with X-Men Origins Wolverine and all that shit.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember.
They both suck. They
okay,
both suck.
Listen, we're not going to have too many more of those. We just look, let's play nice, okay? We're not going to have too much more of that Wolverine slander, all right? Just saying. Just putting it out there, all right? I know I know it's not a good movie, but it's still Wolverine, and I love that movie. I know it's a bad movie.
Listen, Chris, it's a guilty pleasure.
But I love that movie.
It's a guilty pleasure. I understand. There's aspects of the movie I enjoy.
Up to the point where they Wade's mouth. Then I'm like, all right, I'm done.
All the Deadpool stuff sucks.
Yeah, all the Deadpool stuff was stupid. Well, except that opening scene.
The opening scene was great.
That opening scene is rad. He's cutting bullets in half and shit, dude. But just remember, I want everybody to remember, without that movie, we don't have the Deadpool trilogy.
I mean, they're not wrong.
I think
without Ryan Reynolds leaking.
Without Ryan Reynolds, okay.
Leaking the footage during Comic-Con.
Remember that footage was so great, dude. The test footage.
Oh, I got it. Well, I got home from seeing the midnight showing of Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, wow, I was jazzed up after watching Guardians. And then a friend of mine gets on Facebook and he just DMs me. He's like, hey, did you see this shit? And I'm like, what? He's like, dude, Deadpool movie test footage. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. You got to watch it. And I watched it and I went like, holy shit. So I watched it about 4 or 5 more times. And then I got in my car and I drove down to the drive-in and everyone was still there. They were actually watching Guardians, screening it. And I got there waiting for the movie to end. I'm like, guys, you guys got to fucking see this. Right. So like at 3 in the morning, I pull up my phone and I'm showing them the test footage. And they're like, you drove all the way down here for this? I'm like, I was that hyped. I only lived 2 miles away. So it was like, it was super easy to get there. But I was like, I got to tell somebody about this. I got to go share this with somebody. So I might as well go down and see my friends and be like, hey, you guys got to see this shit. But by the way, guys, we got a $20 super chat from Moisture. Thank you so much, dude. Saying here, Sony Pictures owns the rights to Spider-Man related characters in the comics, even if they were created years after they bought the film rights. For instance, Miles Morales debuted in 2011, but Sony owns the film rights. And I heard there was something about Null. That's different though. But I know you're talking about Moisture.
Null's a weird case. He could be a case of like,
why have they not introduced Miles yet? That could be the Sony version of Spider-Man.
Because they
guarantee
want to hold it.
I think it's because Kevin Feige wants
and
him.
He would crush it.
Be honest, Chris,
I like Miles more than I like Peter Parker.
No, I get that. Honestly, Chris, the reason why is I really, really, really think is that Kevin Feige really wants to use Miles Morales. Like he wants to be the one to do it first, not Sony.
But Kevin Feige doesn't get to look. Kevin Feige's great. I know he's got these godlike powers, but he doesn't tell Sony what to do. If Sony owns the rights to Miles Morales, they're gonna.
Well, there's that bargaining power though. Of like, hey, we keep making $1 billion Spider-Man movies. Just let us have a little bit more, you know?
Well, there's definitely a lot of bargaining with it. I think another thing to consider though is that like they've got a pretty decent working relationship, Sony and Marvel do,
And
because
they're
we know,
trying to keep it together as much as they can.
yeah, we know that Sony, really wants to like to kind of like, you know, run parallel to Marvel. The big problem though is that like they've got to make the deals work. And if they don't, then they're just going to end up hurting themselves. But they also know that if they keep fucking up Spider-Man movies, it's going to be, are people going to show up? Right. So it's like
when they finally do introduce Miles, no one's going to give a shit. And I know it's like a hot take, especially me being the age I am. And I know Peter's the GOAT. I get it, guys, but I prefer Miles. I don't know why. I always have.
That's perfectly fine. I think honestly the biggest issue that Sony's gonna have is they're trying to leech off the MCU and act like they're part of it or kind of like be like adjacent to it. But if they keep putting out bad movie after bad movie like Venom 2, El Muerto, Morbius, Madam Web, if like Morbius like damaged them.
I still haven't watched Morbius, and I heard it's not a bad movie.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible.
It's pretty bad. The end credits especially is horrible.
Oh, the end credit sequence is god awful. It's like
it's one of the worst ever. It's one of the worst.
I know,
ever.
But I'm RJ. A lot of people will go to those movies just for that end credit scene. I actually wanted to see the movie. You know, like
I mean, I think it's a bad movie outside that. But here's the thing: if they release Venom 2, which wasn't as well received as the first one, then Morbius, which wasn't received well and was a flop. Then Madam Web. If Madam Web fails, and then we have
it's over. The Spider-Verse is dead.
No, you're not. And then we have El Muerto. Nobody's gonna go support these movies.
What about this other one they're bringing out? What's this other one? The Hunter guy.
Craven.
Nobody gives a fuck about Craven. Nobody cares.
By the way, they're doing a test screening of Craven this week.
Oh, I heard. Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. Who gives a shit?
And Universal signed it too.
Well, I like all the I'm not gonna lie, but my favorite one is the cartoon one, Into the Spider-Verse. That's my favorite Spider-Man movie ever.
Well, you want to know why? Because it's not touched by Sony Pictures and Avi Arad. That's all Lord Miller.
You really don't like Avi, do you?
No one likes Avi Arad.
No one likes Avi Arad.
The guy needs to just retire.
Like he's
like Vince McMahon. Just retire already.
Didn't he? Well, didn't he retire? Like basically, or like? Well, no, clearly not if he's working on Venom 3, but
he's still hanging around a little bit.
There was because at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, he basically thanked himself.
Which was a Sony thing, by the way, because Sony wanted that. They put this guy, like, to the true believer who believed in Spider-Man and created all this great success. Not Stan Lee, not Steve Ditko, not Sam Raimi. Thank you, Avi Arad. Like, what the hell, man?
Get the fuck out of here.
Look it up. Look it up. It's a very, like, it literally says, to the one true believer in the Spider-Man character, Avi Arad. Like, what?
What?
Basically, they gave him credit for being the only person who, like, truly believed Spider-Man could work in live action.
Even Spider-Man 3 wasn't that great, but Raimi kind of had his hands tied, and I can still watch it. There's some cringe parts, but that Spider-Man trilogy is a masterpiece. It let us know, like you're kind of young, RJ, but guys like me and Matt, we grew up in the fucking dark times. Okay, you don't even know the comic book movies we had to endure. And when Spider-Man came out and Raimi, I remember the magazine, because you had to look at magazines, so you could get on like the web a little bit, but you'd see like still frames of like what they were going to use for the webbing, and this is what, you know, the original poster was the Twin Towers with a helicopter in the middle of it. They had to get rid of that because 9/11 happened, and we saw that movie and we went, holy shit, you can make these movies. I didn't think I'd ever see Spider-Man on the big screen like we see him now. And now we've got an entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've got a DCEU. We've even got a Snyderverse. But the one that just doesn't seem to want to keep up is Sony. Like, what are they doing? Fucking Morbius? Craven?
Yeah, they've definitely done. Like, I don't know what Sony plans on doing with everything. Oh my God. I'm just like looking around online and I just found like the GIF of the entire horrific murder scene from fucking Terrifier 2.
Oh yeah, it's all over.
Oh my
Twitter,
God,
especially. It's
really?
all over.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I should say it's the first of 3 shots. I was like, holy shit. That
You
fucking-
have that poster, Tails? Really? Bro, like a real print or like something that they made recently? You know the poster I'm talking about, Maddie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
did
had
you guys
the,
ever see that trailer?
Yeah, we had the trailer at the drive-in because I was working back then.
Bro, it was
We had
so
the trailer
good.
back then,
And then
yeah.
that 9/11 shit happened, but that would have been. I would love to have that poster, man. You know how iconic that poster probably is.
My former boss has the trailer. Like he kept it. They were supposed to destroy it, but he kept it. And I told him I'm all like when you die, I get that. You know, and he's getting up there in years. So, and he's a chain smoker. All right. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna DM him and be like, hey, remember that
You
deal,
can find
bitch.
the shitty grainy ones that are kind of chopped up on YouTube. You can find them, but like an
Yeah,
actual
we've
nice
watched
one,
it. We've watched it here before, yeah.
I would love to have that poster, man, because that poster was so dope. I remember seeing it in the movie theaters, and they were like, "Oh shit, they're making a Spider-Man movie." You know, you remember when you used to go to the movie theater and your sneak peek, your teaser trailer was the poster that was on the wall of shit that was coming. I can remember when Cloverfield didn't even have a name yet; they just had the date announced, and they had the. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is Cloverfield? And then a lot of people hated it. I love it, but I'm an Abrams.
Oh no,
guy.
Cloverfield's one of my all-time favorites.
Don't tell Beltray. He hates J.J. Abrams, bro. I like J.J. You know, but he
Well,
does need to
you
get money back from
know,
Marvel or back to DC.
there are people out there who liked it. Yeah, Rational. I don't really care about the modern web set photos. I've seen a bunch of them. I don't care.
It looks like ass.
Yeah. Oh, here's funny. Timothy here says, what's funny is that Cleopatra 2525 was the test bed for live action Spider-Man slinging. Was it? Because they did have a bit of that in
That
that
Disney
show.
show with the girl.
No, it wasn't Disney. It was on the WB network, right? It was originally part of the back-to-back action hour.
Oh yeah, it
With
was,
Bruce Campbell's The Jack of All Trades, which I still
Yeah.
think I love
remember
that
that.
show. 2 seasons that show got, and it needed more, and then they canceled it because they wanted to make Cleopatra 2525 an hour instead of a half hour.
I remember Cleopatra 2520. That came out around the same time that like Lex, that space show. It was like a Star Trek ripoff, and then the other one with Kevin Sorbo. What was that one called?
Oh, Andromeda.
Yeah, remember all
Andromeda
those
was
were,
good. Andromeda was good.
Oh yeah, they all had to be good. They lasted quite a few seasons.
Well, Lex
yeah.
was more of like a very sexually charged show. You know, like it was a real sexually charged show, if I recall. That was on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, but
Andromeda
I
was
think
on.
It started on Showtime, and it had nudity at first.
Maybe
and
that
then
wouldn't
I
surprise me.
bought it or
That
something
would
like
not
that.
surprise me.
Yeah.
I know that Andromeda was on the WB channel, and because I used to watch it there, and that was they had I think they had a species called the Nietzscheans, right? It was Gene Roddenberry. It was a show he created before after Star Trek or whatever, and this was after he died. Like it was like Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. It's like all right. Anyway, there were some crazy sci-fi shows back then. But here's the thing, though. McLeod, I see McLeod here says, Chud Watch, dude, it's already 1 a.m. I got to get to bed because I got to be up with the kids in the morning.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going to have to hold on for the Chud stuff until tomorrow because what it was is that Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked today.
Yeah.
And the guy who did it, because he attacked her husband with a hammer, and then like tied him up and was like waiting for Nancy to get home because he was going to basically fucking murder Nancy. Well, he's got a website, and on the website, he posts YouTube videos that he likes. And I think the last one that he posted was a fucking Josiah Rises video.
Wow.
Wait,
Wow.
what?
Wow. Is that-
Wait. So what?
Okay. You know what? I guess we'll just do it. We'll do 15 minutes
Wow.
of this thing.
I can't stand cringe Saya.
Wait. So you're saying that the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi, or sorry, the guy who tried to who broke into Nancy Pelosi's house to find Nancy Pelosi, but assaulted and hospitalized her husband, watched Josiah Rises.
Not just him. So this is from CNN. Alleged Paul Pelosi attacker posted multiple conspiracy theories. So this guy is named David DePape, was identified by police Friday as a suspect in the assault at the speaker's San Francisco home. So he has a website, here called Friendly Friends. I'll bring it up here. So it's called Friendly Friends. And this is just a weird fucking site. So he's got this website and it's got blog and you can subscribe to it. There's plans. Check this out. So if you want to you can get a free plan. This is how you subscribe to this is how you subscribe to this guy's website. You have to become a free member. So you do this, or no friends, non-friends, $1 million. Obviously, it's meant to just get people in, right? But you go back to the main page here. All right, nothing much there. Okay, fine. Go to the blog. So here's here's one, why colleges are becoming cults. He posted this a day ago before he went on the Nancy Pelosi thing.
No.
Here we go. Dwayne Johnson trashes woke whatever.
Wait, that's what David wrote right there. What did he say?
What? Oh, critics are fucking commie gatekeepers. They love the shittiest movies ever. As long as those movies are shitty. Let's see if it might open on a new page. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So the critics are fucking commie gatekeepers. They love the shittiest movies ever as long as those movies are shitty because they were shitting communism down the public's throat. The critics consistently hate movies the public loves and love movies that are absolute trash. These people need to lose their jobs. They are crappy at their job and only use it to push their commie agendas. By the way, good movie. Enjoyed it a lot. Fantastic performance by Mr. The Rock. He carried the movie. Wow. As far as wokeism destroys movies. The wokeism in this movie was the diversity hire CG character with no role on the team other than being a diversity hire.
Let me guess, Cyclone.
Cyclone, yeah. The giant white guy who was the demon white people character, and the old white guy who was the kill white people character because of minorities character. The plot holes in the movie arise from the fact that the plot of the movie was actually about kill old white men and not about Black Adam.
The fuck is he talking about?
I don't know. It says here, think I'm wrong? Why put Black Adam in jail if you can see the future? The only thing it did for the plot was kill the old white guy. Together they outnumbered and overpowered the bad guy. The only reason to put Black Adam in jail was to kill white people. Half the movie was about putting Black Adam in jail, so making the movie about killing white people was more important to their Black Adam movie than making a movie about Black Adam. The lamest thing in this movie was the team. The only reason the team was in the movie was to push a kill white people plot. Considering that Kahndaq is in a Middle Eastern nation, non-white individuals. I don't know what they're talking about. There's really only three white dudes in the movie, really, and this
has to be some elaborate troll. What the fuck?
No, this is not an elaborate troll, RJ.
On shit. It really
this guy
does he really think the movie was about a kill? What the hell?
This goes on. This goes on.
What is that?
I don't know. Why destroy the entire Star Wars franchise with such shitty? Oh, here we go. Oh. The writing is so bad. It's like destroying the enemy fleet with the plot hole so big, suck the enemy fleet into it. Why destroy the entire Star Wars franchise with such shitty writing? Because my bitchy SJW woman with pink hair that nobody likes is the real hero. Then there is the Finn plus diversity hire romance line. Their woke woman is their ugly woman. So of course they couldn't get an attractive Asian to play the romance line that isn't woke. Then it's all.
How did this turn to a Star Wars rant?
I don't know. I don't know.
This dude's a fucking trip, bro.
It still goes. I want to see more. Let's see.
Oh, it goes down, dude. But it was all worth it in the end because they brought Carrie Fisher back from the dead to play zombie Jedi. The white moon with the red underneath, white on the outside, red on the inside. This symbolically represents white people. White on the outside, red on the inside. This is deliberate Hollywood white hate messaging. They even attested to something along those lines. I didn't catch that one until I heard from your own mouse. Don't forget that these people want you broke, dead, your kids raped and brainwashed. They think it's funny.
What the fuck?
3,700 views.
What's the comment?
What's the comment here? True Kino.
What's it? What? Wait, so he leaked to a Josiah Rice's video about Black Adam with all this whole manifesto about wokeism in Hollywood. Has this guy
Uh-huh.
linked to other people's videos?
I don't know, but he sounds just like all of them.
He sounds like all of them. Yeah, Black Adam. You know, whatever. This one is the following video has been censored by Google for containing much truthiness. Let's see
Is his background a brony?
It is a brony, yeah. It's a it might be it's a unicorn.
No, it's just a normal unicorn.
I don't know what this
well,
I don't know what it was.
From YouTube.
Yeah. So obviously there's that.
I just want to see if he's linked to other people's videos, like they're erotic or something. Because like Josiah, he's one of the more
following Josiah. He's following all of them.
Oh, no, probably.
Oh no, here we go. Oh, Jimmy Dore.
Oh, I actually like Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy's fucking insane. See,
you don't think? Do you think he's really insane, man?
I think he's really insane. Yeah, he's definitely on the take.
What the fuck is this? What's this artwork? What the fuck?
Let's see. Disinfo chill tactics. All right.
I'm scared of like what you're
totally
see if
not
scroll down.
Yeah, I'm not a glowy. I'm one of you. Oh my god.
I'm not shocked at all. This dude tried to kill Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer. I'm not even shocked anymore.
No, this guy seems insane.
That seems tame compared to what he's talking about, actually.
This is, this is all you glow.
Of course, there's the Pepes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Trump meme.
This is all got to be stuff going on 4chan because they're talking about, like, this guy's really into QAnon shit. So, I mean, like, it just...
I want to see how far this rabbit hole goes down. Honestly,
communism explained, right? Okay, and more Jimmy Dore, Jordan Peterson. He's into Jordan Peterson, the Jewish state, der Israel. Surprisingly, this guy didn't write about fucking Kanye. Surprised.
I'm surprised as well.
Trump, you need to make Tulsi your VP in 2024. Gas chamber door. This is what a gas chamber door looks like. This is what the gas chamber doors at Auschwitz look like. If they actually gas people. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh no. It's the cookie question.
What?
Do you not know? Oh,
no. I'm sorry. That one. Who financed Hitler's rise to power? Are they implying that the Jews financed Hitler?
Why do you hold on? I want to know why you think that, RJ.
Well, because it's obviously the stereotype of the person that they're trying to portray in the image.
In the picture.
Yeah, this
okay.
is,
I was just wondering. Okay. I was feeling a little bit racist there for a second. Like,
well, he uploaded this.
Well, it's the intention of what he's trying to get across.
Yeah.
He uploaded this one directly to it. Okay, went back there. So I mean, just holy shit. So you got there we go. There's Ye. There's Kanye. And it's a song. It's all that power, right? Which is
Illuminati bullshit. Yeah.
Isn't this the one that's in fucking Black Adam?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right. The Holocaust they never told you about. I mean, this dude is.
Moisture's right. It feels like we just stumbled onto the intelligentsia page.
No shit.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is I actually had to create an account for this guy's website in order to get access to this shit. Some of the stuff.
Oh wow, there's another one. There's another image. Scroll back up. The news reporter, the newscaster.
Where I missed it.
Right there.
Oh,
wow.
Good evening. It's 6 o'clock.
He really is. That's some old school Disney shit right there, Matt. That's how Disney used to portray the Jews, like that.
Well, that's the Happy Merchant is definitely an online creation.
Yeah, it's a typical.
Look at this one here.
For a while.
I like subversive. I mean, this demons. Oh my god,
this is like insane. It's like
this is
this is actually disturbing. Like,
this is disturbing. Yeah, and the thing is though, it's like this guy.
This almost feels dark web, Matt, and it's not, but it feels dark web to me. It's crazy.
It does feel a little dark web. Yeah.
I mean, this guy just ran with this stuff, and the thing is, like, nobody really read it.
Well, nobody caught on. Nobody knew even about this guy.
Yeah, this is the, I'm looking to see if he looked at anybody else. Like, he goes down for a ways here.
Well, he pretty much posts like all the time. Like,
yeah, this is
day.
Okay, this
how doesn't this guy have a YouTube channel? That's my question.
He's not well.
Look at this guy. Why does Bill Gates need protection from criminal persecution from his business?
That is a dope ass picture, though.
That is a good picture, though. Yeah,
zombie Bill Gates.
Masked. the sheep. I mean, COVIDian cult, brainwash. I mean, like this guy is clearly.
Okay, here's what I want to know. Okay, he's linking all this shit, but who's doing this artwork? I'm an artist, and some of this art is absolutely disturbing.
He's probably pulling it from Google or 4chan.
Yeah, DeviantArt, things like that. I mean, that's fucking frightening.
That was my first employer.
Jesus.
You know, I mean, just like Der Bevel is the weird.
There we go. The election fraud.
Yeah. Let's see here. Any journalist saying that should be dragged straight out on the street and shot. Right? Saying no evidence of election fraud because there wasn't any.
Shit.
You know, this guy is like Ukraine responsible for the war. Wow. Canadian COVID death cover up. I mean, like,
see, that's a serious topic for another time because I'm looking at all these images you're bringing up, and I used to give RJ a lot of shit about saying that Phantom Menace and Geeks and Gamers were radicalized and all that shit. But then you see things like this, and you see them connected to groups like this, and it makes you wonder: could this brainwash a young person? This kind of
what I always said was what I got worried about is that people like Josiah, Geeks and Gamers, and like Ryan Kittle, they're like a pipeline of this kind of shit. Like,
no, they are. I believe it now.
To get this way too deep.
I did not agree with you at first, but I see that it is a pipeline to this kind of shit.
That's Nerdette.
What?
This guy was a watcher of Nerdette's newsstand.
Wow. Which means if he watches them,
because she covered the Amber Heard stuff.
Listen, man, if he watches guys like Josiah and all those,
who is this?
He's got to watch us because we're always talking shit about these people.
Yeah. Okay, that one there is from a channel called Mentist Wave.
What do you want to bet this guy subscribe to Friday Night Tights?
I don't know. Well, he's most likely.
Are you sure he doesn't have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, let's see. Squid Game is communist self-projection. Oh, fucking K. Oh,
Andy
Popcorn Planet. Oh shit. Oh, Maddie.
There we go, folks. Fandom Menace L's, you hear? Fandom Menace L's, are you here? You got us. Yeah, there they are. Yeah, you look at that right there, folks. Right there.
So Andy Signor's leaked to alt-right pipelines now?
Oh my god.
I mean, have you not checked out Andy Signor recently?
I guarantee we all frequent the same circles, Matt. This guy has watched your videos and your streams.
Oh, he has watched. Most likely. Moisture here says, for 5, thanks, buddy. I thought She-Hulk was trolling, but Intelligentsia is real. Yeah, fucking no shit. Like Spherical Commander says, I'm surprised he hasn't posted any of the Commandant's videos.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure
well, there hasn't been one in a while, but
the Popcorn Planet thing made me laugh so hard just now.
Yeah, Moisture says
I know
this
how
is
far
beyond
you and
delusional.
him go back, Matt. I know how far you and him go back.
It's crazy, man. Like
I'm just waiting to see a Gary video leaked. Like an erotic Ryan Kittle.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for too. All right.
Is fucking crazy. And you notice they ain't talked about this. Usually they humble brag about shit like this. And ain't none of those fucking Geeks and Gamers or Friday Night Tights or Tuesday Night motherfuckers, none of them are talking about this guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's on national news. Oh, they'll talk about the Doomcock mask and all that shit that was in She-Hulk. But something like this, no, put that under the rug.
This?
So Sweet Anita is a
oh
Twitch
yeah,
streamer
she's the girl with Tourette's.
With Tourette's. She seems very nice.
She's a sweetheart. Yeah, she really is.
You know, like suppress your what?
Message for Sweet Anita. Want to go to Norfolk, California and try it out. He's like trying to help this girl get rid of her tics.
I mean, like Tourette's is fucking terrible. Like
it is, but this dude's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, I got.
Does he think Anita's gonna run? Does he really think Anita's gonna scroll through all this shit and then take his advice?
Somebody might
send it to her.
I'm just
dude, this is bad.
I shouldn't have clicked on that because now it kind of resets it. So I have to keep going back down. I mean, like this guy, all he does is post.
This dude is, he's not well.
So
He's not
I'm
well.
assuming his motivation was he wanted to find Nancy Pelosi and kill her.
Something like that.
Probably. And I'm not a
Alex
Nancy
Jones.
Pelosi fan, but I don't want to see anybody get murdered.
Yeah, at
That's
least
crazy.
equality for woman. He says woman. So you know,
that's a common phrase they
Yep.
use.
I saw
did-
Alex in there. I don't want him turning the guy. This frog's gay. Oh my
Jordan
God.
Peterson.
okay, well, you went down past this stuff.
Yeah, this is all new, I think.
I mean, this is all like September. This is like a month. You know, this is like just like
That's
a
just
fucking
a month's worth of shit. Wow.
Oh God, Candace
Wow.
Owen
oh,
versus
God.
Lion Snakes.
Oh, Jesus.
Facts are racist. Jesus Christ. What is this shit?
Joe Rogan.
Does he watch Mecca Random? Probably. I kind of hate her. I fucking hate her.
I don't know. Some of the Chuds don't even like Mecca. I don't know.
I can't see why, man. Her video
Here we go.
today had me
He wrote an
triggered.
article here on August 23rd called Gamergate. How did I get into Gamergate? Who the fuck is this guy? That's my question. Because
Wait, you were a big part of Gamergate.
I was at the beginning of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, this guy is that's the thing. I was like, that's why I wanted to bring it up, was because of all that shit. I saw the Gamergate tag earlier.
Key and Peele.
Oh God, look. Oh, look.
Razor Fist.
Wow.
Communism in Hollywood.
I remember that interview. Yeah. Stephen Monty and all that.
Fucking.
A Red Skull video.
Okay. Propaganda industrial complex.
Wow.
Okay. So he just started this site from the looks of it then.
Okay, so you started in August.
Maybe,
this
but
one-
look at all the shit.
Unless it's as far as
linked.
it goes, or lets you see.
Maybe. Yeah. But
You know
so
what
he's
this
got
reminds me
tags
of?
over here, right?
he
Aliens, black
does.
bullies, climate hysteria.
What's the Black Adam one tag task? Because maybe that'll help us find other videos that you similarly linked to.
Let me see.
Just
2 days
Josiah
ago.
blows my mind. Like
I
the
think
fact that
it's
he's
at the
gonna-
top. Oh no, maybe not.
No, that's the other. Those are the other menus.
Communism, maybe? I don't know.
no,
This one's uncategorized.
no
Oh,
Tim
okay.
Pool videos.
That to me is the most surprising. But look here, the Jubes.
Wow.
I don't know. I clicked on it. Open up a
Look
new
at that
window.
great reset. Groomer schools. It's all
Guns,
lit. It's
humor,
all lit.
immigrants. James Lindsay, the Jesuits, pedogate.
Oh my god,
I mean, this shit is it's just nuts,
this is
dude.
bad.
This guy.
So what?
is
So what should we take away from the fact this guy watches Josiah Rice's videos?
I mean, he posts about Josiah Rises. He posts about other stuff. I mean, clearly this guy is pretty fucking mental. So this is the Gamergate article, right? It's long, so I'm not gonna go through the whole fucking thing. Mo Moon here says you must pay for your crimes to starting Gamergate. I've already paid enough. William tuned in to say hi. Wow, gotta go. Yeah, don't blame you, man.
Yeah, this is pretty serious stuff.
Shit. This is like disturbing.
So yeah, this guy. So he does here. This was an old one from Low Paying. Like this is old. If you guys have never seen this.
Who controls the feminists? Who calls gamers terrorists? We do.
I remember this.
Who gets pissed when they see tits? Who says stupid shit for hits? We do. Who chills out for their friends' careers? Who praises gone home? Cause queers we do. Who reviews what they've not played? Who rates every indicate? We do.
That is old.
Well, that's also the parody of the Simpsons episode that make fun of cults, right? Like the secret
Yeah.
societies.
The stonecutters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what I mean by that is I remember when that came out, and I haven't watched that in like 8 fucking years. but I was like, holy shit, I remember some of those people. You know, but look at this here. Like, how did I get into all this? Gamergate. It was Gamergate. Fuck. God damn it. God fucking damn it. I heard Gamergate was all kind of bad things. Propaganda industrial complex tell you that. I mean, to be fair, there's elements of GG that were overblown by a lot of the, you know, I don't want to say haters. You call them critics. But you know, what is Gamergate? It is many things, and there are many different aspects to it. The most concise description of Gamergate would be a consumer-led revolt against communism. That's fucking not true.
No.
That is not the simple. It's
Why
communism.
Why is he making all this about communism?
Because that's been
Adam.
that's been the attack on it, right? That's been the communism, socialism, right? Like that's the angle they want to push for everything. Everything is communist, everything is socialist, and they have to call it all out. You know, I mean, this guy is the literal embodiment of this particular meme right here. You know, everything is woke, everything is political, everything is SJW, and you have to point it all out. I mean, that's just true. This guy is completely like that.
Did you read this article ahead of time at all?
I did. I glanced at it quickly.
Okay,
and then,
were you mentioned at all?
I did do a Control F for Matt. I didn't see it, so I think I'm good.
Well, did you use other terms like Jarbo, Corey,
I
all
mean,
that shit?
All right, hold on. Okay, Control F, mundane, nothing. Matt, nothing. Jarbo, nothing. Okay, so I'm not mentioned in this at all.
You're safe.
Yes.
Woo.
Hold on. Wait. Skull. Okay, no. One time on the screen. Okay, good. We're fine. We're good.
Wait. Type in boulders.
No, this was well before boulders, sir. This is well before boulders.
Hey, somebody Spherical said it right after I said it.
This is well.
No, it wouldn't hurt to check.
Leave that abyss alone. I can't. I've stared into it enough times over the years. It has no control over me. Has no control over me whatsoever.
I love that.
JP says Matt will make a movie about Escape Gamergate. Escape the.
You know, one thing I will admit though, I probably not even that hot of a take, but I always thought Anita was really pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
I always thought Anita was really pretty, which is what made me believe the whole Zoe stuff. You know, like I could see guys doing that to girls.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like people said some really nasty shit to all of them.
No, I'm talking about the other stuff, the exchange for exchange,
that actually never happened. That was
all blown out of proportion.
That was a joke. That was a joke on Medicare's first video on the subject.
But what about this guy in Canada that offed himself?
What guy in Canada that offed himself?
The guy in Canada that was with Zoe. And she did something.
Oh, that was the guy. Oh, Alex Soloka, whatever.
Yeah.
That was well before all that stuff happened. That was well before Gamergate started, and that was well after it ended. So it was very much not. It's very much not that. It's not connected to that stuff.
I always wondered if it was connected or not. I
mean, like, don't get me wrong. Fucking Zoe Quinn is an absolute horrible person. Horrible, terrible person. And and people out there fawned over her because it was like she was the victim of the moment, and she was definitely a victim, don't get me wrong, with the way people descended on her, but she also literally tried silencing her ex-boyfriend by suing him, and there was a gag order on him for a long time, and she tried to break him with legally, with legal fees and everything else. And that's kind of the whole thing is like, there's a lot of that shit that went on there. And it's like, no one ever talks about the things that she did because nobody ever wants to acknowledge it. And when you think about Gamergate, like, oh, it was just a harassment campaign. There were harassers in there, and that happened very quickly after everything started. But like in the beginning, it was very much like, hey, let's just go after these companies that are like supporting these unethical behaviors. And that's it. But that ended up getting so shot the fuck down because people were just like, again, the media narrative of it. There's a lot that went into it there, which is unfortunate. But again, there was like, it wasn't a right-wing propaganda thing. Like, a lot of people in Gamergate were fucking lefties. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people in Gamergate were like, the political compass was very left-leaning. It wasn't until a few months into it when Steve Bannon sent Milo Yiannopoulos in to legitimize it and then also to co-opt it. And that is true. So like the very first little bit of it was very vocal, and it was organized in the sense of running like boycott campaigns and letter writing campaigns and things like that. But this guy, like here, if you come down here, right, so he's talking about like, Zoe Quinn, propaganda, industrial complex, wokeism, or whatever. So he's like, so let me tell you about how I came into it. So I game a lot. It doesn't surprise me. Every once in a while, I'll go into it online looking for a tutorial, some game I'm playing. So I'll find some random video for some random channel on the topic I'm currently interested in. This leads me to channels discussing the topic of Anita Sarkeesian. They would talk about how her like she's the most toxic shit on the internet. Now, I don't watch these channels, so I wasn't aware of the ongoing discussion. I just popped in a video for a very specific topic. Now, let's talk about the fact that's the rabbit hole right there, right? That is the rabbit hole. That's the gateway. That's the tube. That's the tunnel. That's the slide. However you want to frame it. He openly admits in this fucking manifesto exactly how this happens. And RJ, you said it a little bit ago, talking about like geeks and gamers and neurotic and stuff.
They're the pipeline.
They're the pipeline.
They funnel you to the more extreme content.
Exactly. And that's exactly what this guy he openly admits it, right? He openly admits, he's like, I just went on there to find a video about a tutorial for a video game I was playing. And I went down this pipeline.
Videos. And there you go.
And I guarantee you one of them was mine. Multiple of them were mine. No one went harder at Anita Sarkeesian than I did back in the day, right? Like, I'm known for it. Now, do I feel that's right? No. In retrospect, I've honestly contemplated sending her an email and saying, listen, we'll never agree on topics, but I should have handled things better. I apologize, because like I should have handled things better. I should have been better. I should have been more aware. You know what I mean? But these particular situations, when you're surrounded by this group of people and you're influencing these group of people, it becomes very easy to just continue going down that particular, that pipeline, going down that path. You don't really, you end up getting like, you get caught up in it. It is very much a mob mentality. And that's a lot of what happened here. Torches and pitchforks, basically. But that right there, that like, Dane, if you're watching, there you go, buddy. There's the thesis for your argument. Right? Like,
that's crazy.
That's
probably
fucking...
shits in this today.
I'm sorry, what?
He probably shits in this today, like a field day with this art. With the whole
no, I think Dane's watching right now. He was telling me that. So, this, I will admit though, I did think this particular thing was funny. Because it's true for a lot of people, not just Anita, right? Opinions, and it gets thrown back at you, and you get upset at that. Now, it says, this describes her so well, I wouldn't be surprised if she was the inspiration for this meme. I mean, yes, she's the inspiration for this meme. It's, ponytail, hoop earrings, pink shirt. It's Anita. However, at the time, I didn't really know what was going on with her. I had actually seen a couple of her videos. It was kind of like whatever. However, video after video was talking about her like she was such a toxic shit person. Now, because of past relationships, I know about the danger of only getting one side of the story and making up your opinion based upon that. Basically, gypsy. Sometimes she would tell people about our relationship, and what she would tell them was so insanely divorced from the truth. It taught me the importance of hearing both sides of the story, because there are people out there who will lie like you wouldn't believe. And this is the guy who today believed that Nancy Pelosi, was trying to kill her husband and her with a hammer. Because he believed what he read on the internet. You know what I mean? That's the thing, is like, he starts off, you can tell he starts off like he probably had like good intentions starting off, right? The path to hell
started. Yeah.
The road to hell is paved in good intentions. Yeah. Like, oh, I want to get the other side of the story. Oh, okay. I don't, let me hear. But then of course that other side then becomes the predominant message that you get because of the way the algorithm plays out on YouTube. fucking crazy. Oh God, I remember this meme too. So even though there was an online consensus that this woman was absolute trash, I wasn't going to pick a side until I heard what both sides had to say about it, which meant I now had to research Gamergate. So I went back and forth on the issue. I would listen to arguments made by one side, then go see what the other side's counter arguments were. Then I would go and see what the counter arguments to that counter argument were, back and forth, back and forth. I flipped sides many times on this issue many times, and I just kept digging deeper until one side's argument fell apart under the weight of their own lies. And so, I mean, there's that meme there. So what he's talking about here is like the white feminist speaking for the minority.
Yeah.
Right? That was a big problem. That was actually a really big thing with
It's
Gamergate
still a
back in the
fucking
day.
problem.
Yeah, so it says the only people who are opposed to their agenda of pushing communist propaganda onto gaming are white Christians. They were constantly hiding behind women and minorities to push their woke communism into gaming, all while blaming straight white males. It got to the point where Not Your Shield hashtag was born. Straight white males are not the only people who play games and disagree with their communist agenda. See, this is him completely blowing Not Your Shield out of proportion, right? Not Your Shield was created because what happened in the interim, immediately following the start of Gamergate, was you had all these people coming out saying, "Oh, it's just like," basically they weren't calling them incels yet, but they were calling them incels, right? And like they're all just like
white guys in the
a bunch,
basement.
yeah, angry white boys, blah 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 blah, and then people were like, no, like many individuals were like, no, I am female, I am of color, I am this, I'm that, I'm this and that. I'm all of these things. You don't get to speak for me. And that was a big facet. That was a really, really, really big facet of the Not Your Shield. I really believed in Not Your Shield because this was like people going like, no, you don't get the opportunity to speak for me. This is seriously like, you don't have this. And so that's what that was. But it wasn't fighting back against communist propaganda. I mean, this is the thing. This guy's already off to a bad start. So you can already tell. Like, again, the communist counter argument to this was the claim that they were all just sock puppet accounts. They couldn't be real because there's no such thing as a black person or woman who doesn't agree with communism. I mean, like, that was the argument, was that these were all sock puppet accounts. That was an argument that was disproven pretty quickly on. But, that was something that he's not wrong about this argument, but it wasn't communism. Here's this one there. Okay, so that's my story, but what is the story of Gamergate and Anita Sarkeesian? Who is this guy? Troy Leavitt? 28,000. I don't remember this particular video right here. Right.
We've seen these sorts of moral panics, man. And from that point...
Oh my God. Sorry, I'm not playing it, but it's like, that's so 2014, guys.
Yeah,
like,
I can tell it's an old video.
It's an old video. You can totally tell. I mean, look at this guy's more videos here. Look at his, Gamergate, a game developer's thoughts. Games lead the way. It's just very 2014. The XCOM solution to identity politics. What's this one here? Philip DeFranco. I mean, in defense of John Lasseter. All right. He goes through the video. He goes through the whole video here. I mean, it's like, it's works like this. Identify a problem and only allow explanations that requires communism as the answer. Take Anita, for example. The only acceptable explanation for cute girls in video games is sexism. The only possible reason, if it's sexism, then the solution is feminism, and feminism is gendered communism.
Wow, this dude's obsessed with communism, bro.
I've never heard the argument that feminism is just gendered communism. Is that like a Sargon talking point?
Maybe. That sounds like some shit.
That sounds like something he would. I should message Carl and ask him.
That sounds like some shit Carl would say.
Rational here says Rebecca Watson said Not Your Shield with sock accounts, and when proven wrong, she said some minorities are Rebecca Watson's a fucking horrible person. It's just like, Jesus Christ. This guy, look, man, there were really deep-seated problems in Gamergate. It's just terrible how this guy went down that fucking rabbit hole, man. All right, so he goes on from there. Oh no, Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot.
Yeah, Thunderfoot.
I figured
Thunderfoot.
Thunderfoot would be in here. I figured he would.
Yeah.
Okay, Mo here. Sargon mentioned gendered communists. I don't know, Mo, if you actually are telling the truth or not. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, Thunderfoot would go after Anita. Fucking, you guys wouldn't even believe how often he would go after Anita. It was insane. Every video that was about feminism found a way to tie itself into Anita for the last like third of it. We would all joke about that privately. Like, oh, Thunderfoot dropped a new video. All right, is it about Anita? No. Okay, how long until the video becomes about Anita? And it's like, you know, we would just joke because that's what they did. You know, he goes through the whole video and whatnot, right? Oh, of course. Oh God, Anita and Zoe going to the UN. That was pretty funny. They did. They went to the UN.
I remember that. It was
I couldn't believe it. I remember going, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. Have you ever just like woke up one day and thought you didn't wake up? Like he's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Kinda. I mean, you know,
it's so surreal. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
well, look
right
at this
now?
one here. Video games promote illegalitarian extremism. We kill everyone equally. It's like showing Doom Guy. Yeah, all the demons. You're fighting literal demons that kill everybody else. Like, you know, it's what are you doing? Like, you don't understand you just don't understand it. You know, what is Gamergate? Another video by this Troy Leavitt guy who I'll tell you this though, it kind of looks familiar, but I don't fully remember. Right? He talks about media collusion. There was actually media collusion in regards to Zoe Quinn. That is true.
And Anita.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff there. You know, and it's just like all this like, anti-Semitism equal patriarchy. I mean, Jesus Christ, right? The you know, it's just like it's totally. This guy's insane. Okay, there's the Troy Leavitt guy again. He's really into what this guy has to say, right? He's really into what this guy has to say. You know, depression quests. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm trying to see. All right. So here we go. Okay. So here he's talking about the Five Guys blog post that Aaron Joni put up in August of 2014. So it says here, then the next year, accusations from a jilted lover appeared that Zoe Quinn allegedly slept with a journalist that may have done a review for her game. I didn't read the blog post, so I don't know if he alleged that or if it's something put together by other people based on additional information. Let me clarify. He says she slept with the journalist. I don't know if he makes any connection between that and a review or if that's a connection made by other people. It was never a real connection. It was a joke. Now, she slept with that guy. He admitted that they slept together. He had written about her cover about Depression Quest and her favorably in a report for Kotaku that came out like literally like the day before they allegedly hooked up. So, I mean, you can look at that and go, it's a little bit too close for comfort in regards to the timeline, but like, you know, it's just like here, there, that David Leavitt guy, I guess, says, Zoe Quinn is irrelevant to the Zoe Quinn scandal. I mean, I'll think that's actually accurate though. That really is. Cause she never did anything like there was no sex for reviews. There's nothing, anything like that. So it's like
she had that other scandal though, where she took all the money for that game and then didn't put the game out. You know, she's connected to a few.
Oh yeah, that was the Chuck Tingle game. Yeah, that was a Chuck Tingle game. $88,000, and like the game never even like went out, whatever, but got like a bunch of people in on. Like Will Wheaton was in it. Vice did a coverage of it. You know what I mean? Like way back in the day. I don't even know what that. Then she like claimed to be poor, but then went on like a trip to Japan. It's like crazy shit.
Wesley Crusher was in it. Oh
yeah. Oh dude, he was fucking. He was crazy. Oh hey, look, Mombot. She just got unbanned from Twitter like just recently. Then it goes into the whole Chuck Tingle Kickstarter thing. Then of course you've got this woman Mallory. This is from 2014, claiming that Zoe had done some stuff. This was a big thing back then. Then of course, is this the hacking of Zoe Quinn that happened back then? Oh, look, Sid Alpha. You know. Oh God, One Angry Gamer is completely, or he sold the site. The guy on there, total fucking racist. Total racist. I mean, There we go. In fact, if you know who Candace Owens is, Gamergate actually what woke her up. Oh God, I hate that. I fucking hate that. No one okay. Parts, I guess Candace Owens didn't even enter into the equation until 2016. Okay. When she came out and she tried, she tried claiming that like Zoe Quinn had like tried to like co-opt her or whatever, right? Because she was like she was critical about like Zoe tried to take over something she was working on. So then she ran right to like Ethan Ralph and Milo type people. You know what I mean? So it's totally stupid. Like gamer. Oh my God. This is, this is the guy who killed himself. Yeah. And of course,
wait, go back up. Isn't that the game Lost in the Woods or whatever?
I think so. Yeah. He worked on it, I think.
He's one of the developers of that.
Yeah. She had made claims that like, she made some heinous Me Too type claims against him. Like he was keeping her locked up in his house and wouldn't let her leave. I suspect she made the claim so she could grift off the victim attention. She would receive a booster profile, receive donations and boost profile or projects. A lot of people thought that to be fair. He was pushed out of his job as a result of the accusation and he committed suicide. Jesus. That's actually true.
Jesus.
After death, everyone started looking into it and evidence emerged that she had made the whole thing up. Text messages and social media posts emerged from while they were together that don't collaborate Zoe's story. She claimed she was kept prisoner, unable to leave, but that isn't backed up by evidence. In fact, she was coming and going as she pleased. I don't remember all the info, but that does seem to be relatively accurate. But the idea here is this, right? Because this guy is getting a very skewed version of events. So he's getting it from like, obviously that David Leavitt guy is a very big inspiration for this. But you can start to see as he's going through all of this stuff, right? Like there was a woman in his life who had made, either falsehoods against him and people believed her about him. So he was like, oh, there's other side of the story. So he's pissed off, but he wants to get to the other side of the story. But then as he goes down that rabbit hole, you start to see like his anger come out, right? I think that's what it is. His anger.
It's like what we just did.
Kind of.
No,
I mean,
shit,
like,
this is crazy, man.
This is like this whole thing.
Keep your hate speech off this campus. Keep your hate speech off this campus.
That Trigglypuff, man. Listen, that name was funny. That shit was funny. I don't care.
I thought it was funny. Listen, I'm gonna jump in the shower and try to break this fever and lay down and let you close out your stream.
Yeah, this is every time I come on here.
Every time I come on here, I have fun. So thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks, Chris. Good.
Hey, Chris.
See you, man. It's just like this guy. I don't know which one is this year. Like all this other shit. Like
it's just a rabbit hole, man.
It's a rabbit hole of crazy.
Deeper.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole of fucking crazy. So this guy, if he listened to Thunderfoot, he listened to Sargon. If he listened to Sargon, he listened to me. And it's one of those things where
that's gotta be a really weird feeling.
Yeah, super weird, dude. You have no idea. It's one of those things where the more you look at it, you realize that like this shit that we do has an impact on people, right? Like it has an absolute impact on people. Let's see here. Command unit for 10. Thanks, buddy. Says my grandparents from my mother's side met and got married when they served in the Red Army during the Russian Civil War. So I can blame the communists for my existence. Haha. Well, I mean, that's good. Apparently, I was conceived on the night that Jerry Seinfeld first performed on the Tonight Show. So I guess he bored my parents enough to get busy. So, all right, that joke died. But no, thank you. I'm just saying, like, there's this like the whole thing. Matt's new true crime video. I should do a deep dive on this as time goes on. But for me, do I remember Russian Deadpool, aka Skeptic Feminist? Oh yeah, I remember, man. I remember that he killed his girlfriend. That guy was a guy.
What?
There was a guy named Russian Deadpool. He had like a girlfriend. They were, he also went by the name Skeptic Feminist. He was very anti-Gamergate, very like aggressive in that space. Talked to, like would battle a lot of people and everything else. And then one day got fucked up apparently and shot and killed his girlfriend, who was also on his channel. You know?
Holy shit.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, like this shit, dude, will fucking push you. So, you know, like I don't want to spend like every waking minute trying to like fight back against this because I've only got so much fucking bandwidth, you know? And it's like, and it loses me more often than not these days. But when I, you know, when I see something like the Into the Storm documentary that talks about how it has origins in Gamergate, and a lot of it is Steve Bannon. And then you look into this guy who clearly is a deranged fucking sociopath, breaks into Paul Pelosi's home, ties him up, and is waiting for Nancy to kill her because he believes that she is a traitor and that she is evil. And, you know, he calls Black Adam woke communism, right? Like it was about like the propaganda to kill white people. What?
Just watching Josiah's videos and all that.
Watching Josiah, Andy Signor videos, Jimmy Dore videos, things like that. It's just like Edgy Sphinx was also a rabbit hole. Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. I remember Kraut has a lot of very strong feelings about Edgy Sphinx. Tony here says, look at Brianna Wu. Gamergate's her entire existence. She can't live without it. She tried running for Congress twice on an anti-Gamergate ticket. She did. She tried running for Congress twice and she failed both times.
Stupid.
You know, I mean, like she's another one who's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sunblade here says the fandom menace will continue their shit and it will cause great harm. I mean, it's already kind of caused great harm.
Yeah, the harm's already been caused.
And I don't like the only thing, and I've said this when I talked about the Doomcock video with the whole thing with She-Hulk, you know, and I said like, look, don't flag them, don't report them, don't do nothing like that because it won't do anything. But what you got to do is like start combating them. Use the algorithm to your advantage. Get in their viewers, watch, you know, their autoplay, right? 'Cause that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. It's like start responding to them. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It could still end up getting to somebody that watches, because the algorithm can be used for bad and be used for good. You know, you can pump all the, like, if you look at what they do, like the Fandom Menace, right? Like they have a Discord. This is true. They have a Discord or a group chat or whatever, a place where they talk, where like the stories come in, right? Stories come in. And then they go and like, they'll kind of start like a narrative. This is from my understanding. They'll kind of start like a narrative and then build from there. But everyone is generally on the same page and everyone generally talks about it. So when that happens, it ends up creating this situation where they're able to flood the scene with all of these videos. And Jeremy doesn't go first. Jeremy will actually wait for them to see if something gets traction before he talks about it. But then from there, when he talks about it, other people who want to be like gutter snipes will then start covering what he's covering because he's the bigger channel, and they might be able to grow subscribers based upon that because of the recommendations. So it's a weird kind of pyramid scheme that is all meant to be, you know, very, to boost everybody, as well as to, you know, kind of just like spread this message as far and wide as they can. And that's what they do. And that's why their audience doesn't care that Ryan Kinnell will go to, you know, to Universal Studios and make a George Floyd joke. You know, that's very disrespectful. They don't care that Ryan Kinnell will sit in his car and go like, you know, why are all the black people good but the white people bad in the Batman? And make, you know, just like all this shit that they fucking do all the time. Because their audience doesn't care. Their audience likes the chaos. Their audience likes everything. And YouTube makes a lot of money off of them. So they're not going to try to stop them. And you know, obviously like they're good enough at skirting around the issue. They're going all crazy on Twitter right now? Because there's no one who's going to hold them accountable for things that they say.
I'm people going to try to, but it's not really going to do anything.
Well, the thing is like on Twitter, they'll get ratioed hardcore, but it doesn't matter because their primary source of spread is YouTube. That's the reality of it. And I've told this to other people who criticize them all the time. And, and the response I've gotten back is something akin to, well, I don't care. It's funny to make fun of them on Twitter. I'm like, but it doesn't have much of an impact. I mean, like fucking Kiwi Farms probably does more because they log these guys too. They don't like them. They don't like, Kiwi Farms does not like Doomcock. They think he's full of it.
No, I'm sure they do.
So it's like, I mean, but they do more to log this shit because people actually like make videos there, respond to stuff there. It's just like, I don't know I don't know anymore. And it's why I just don't have much, like I don't talk about it as much anymore because it's like, what's the fucking point?
No, I get you.
So, I mean, yeah, Ryan's like, it isn't really productive. It's not. Timothy here says, between Doomcock and Nerdrotic, Doomcock is the outright joke. Nerdrotic and his group are the dangerous ones. I agree. I actually agree. Doomcock used to be. He used to have more influence because he would work with Nerdrotic.
I think ever since he got dropped by those guys, he's had less influence.
I mean, like his channels, he still has his fan base, but like you feel like Doomcock is like less and less of a thing. I've noticed. I did look up Commandant recently, and he's still putting out videos. So I still think Doomcock is over there doing that. Let's see here. Sunblade here says the big names in the YouTube movie sphere need to put their foots down and call them out. Stuckman and such need to. But here's the thing with that though. Stuckman just reviews movies. And he doesn't get involved in the culture war shit. And even Stuckman has said recently that ever since he started making his own movie, he doesn't do like reviews criticizing films. He doesn't attack movies because he's in that space now. And like Jeremy Johns won't ever really do it. John Campea will occasionally,
but he won't name him.
He won't name him.
He keeps it very big.
Yeah, Grace Randolph will do the same thing.
Yeah, she called them out a little bit in her Black Panther video recently when she didn't name drop them. Said, "You know what channels I'm talking about." That's all she said.
Yeah, so that's kind of the whole point. Is like everyone knows who the fuck they are, but everyone's afraid of the backlash, and that's because I do think a lot of content creators are fully aware of how you're tied to the algorithm, and they just don't want to deal with that. They don't like them, but there's nothing they can do, and that is where we find ourselves. You know what I mean? Like it's you might argue that it's nothing but melodrama, but when you've got people like today, this is something that I think is actually you have to realize that this is some serious shit, and that's a problem. I don't know what the solution to it is. I'm not even sure I want to be a part of it anymore in that regard. Because the fight, there's just not a lot of fight left for me on that front. I hate it. I don't like them one goddamn bit. In a debate, I'd destroy them. I think that's pretty fucking clear. But they did that. Now, Rational here says Bob Chapek called out the Chuds. I have not heard that. RJ, have you heard about Bob Chapek and the Chuds?
He said something to the effect of about like somebody asked about criticism of Disney going woke, and I think he said something to the effect of something about like Disney embraces what audiences are wanting, and we evolve to the needs of what the audience is looking for, entertainment or something like that. Something like that. He basically addressed the woke criticism, basically.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, it was like in some giant Wall Street Journal video interview, I think.
He needs to shave that goddamn beard. So
I agree. He looks like a villain.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, guys, it is 2:00 in the morning my time. I have got to get to bed, but there was the last little thing here from Command Unit.
40K.
40K. Apparently, it's a video game trailer. It's not a fucking. It's not one of those figurine trailers. Because I actually got a strike
for a figurine trailer.
It's the music on the trailer,
That's
man.
So
it's
weird.
The music. That's all, dude. Oh, believe me, I've been like trying to counterfight some of the claims I got recently, and like, was it Lionsgate's all like because I talked about the Dead Rising downfall, or no, Dead Space downfall, the animated movie.
Yeah,
and it's like what from like 2009, and they're like, Oh no, you showed it.
Lionsgate's one of the worst when it comes to copyright.
Oh, I know. So is Warner's, but like Disney don't even give a shit. I've noticed. Like they don't care. And that's good. You know, good on them. Good on them. Fucking maybe if you were less cunty, Lionsgate, you might get more coverage. Anyway, here we go.
This dude.
I don't know.
Looks like a dude kind of character side. Not the pond people.
Oh damn.
Jesus.
Gotta love it. Okay.
PC, Xbox, PS4. I guess it's already
How
out.
come I never hear these games?
I never
Yeah.
hear about these games either until they're already out. It's weird. They never market them. At least I don't pay attention to the marketing, I guess.
Probably because they don't have to. You know what I mean? Like they're probably like, yeah, they got enough fans. Like the fans talk about it.
Well, yeah, I don't imagine these are really high budget games either. They probably keep them to a modest budget to where it's like really just for like the community of like really hardcore 40K people.
Yeah, most likely. Most likely. I think it's, I mean, they're always a lot of fun. I like the cinematics and whatnot. It's an interesting world. I would just love to see like an actual, like, you know, movie done, I guess.
Yeah, easy entryway for new people.
So yeah, pretty good there. But all right, everyone, if you guys haven't already, please smack the like. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is become a patron. That way YouTube doesn't get 30%. Greedy fucks. And I'll probably be on. I'll be on tomorrow night. We'll do a shorter stream. This is a long one. This got going pretty hardcore, but good stuff. And thank you all so much for hanging out. I really appreciate that. Get the fuck to sleep, everybody, or go watch Terrifier 2. Go watch something scary. I'll see you guys.